bison that was just ox, yak, blah, was entirely covered in Gnomish children just completely climbing all over it in curiosity, and that's what set off the alarm spell.
I think it said Thrum went to the back, got a turnip, brought it back, and if you've ever, like fed your dog but by hand, but not really fed him, let him chew on a tennis ball or something, he's just kind of holding the turnip there to keep Esky's attention while he stands with his spear in his other hand and closes his eyes again to go back to sleep.
Nolgrim's just going to go back inside and ask for a dark beater to start off his day.
Back inside to enjoy the little bit of color that he can see because of the fire.
Yeah. Freya, Taskill, what you doing?
I'll go on with amusement for a couple minutes and go get dressed and ready for the day.
Yeah, I'm going to, so this is the end of a long rest?
Yes.
Yeah, so I can start infusing things. Yeah, so first of all, I'm going to infuse my crossbow with repeating shot. And then rope of climbing is the second one.
You have two infusions at second level? I'm new to the Artificer, so...
Yeah, that's the beginning amount of infusions you get, because you don't actually progress in spells. You get this level.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Some infused items you can see is 2 on the table.
Gotcha.
But infusion's known as 4.
Artificer is just still so new to me, so...
It's new to everybody, really.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a fun fact. This is our third dwarf session. It is the third different month that we have played in.
I mean, when you say it like that... Now I'm sad.
We need to pick it up.
All right. So most people are going back inside. So Fergus, you said you're just like hanging out near the fireplace, enjoying actual color.
Yep. He knows that eventually they're all going to have to go to the manor, but he's just taking his time, like, relaxing while everyone's waking up, doing their normal thing.
Yep. Actually, just a couple minutes while everyone's doing like their get-up business. The gnome woman from before, the one that has I'm looking up her name here. Esmara. Esmara, the widow of the sheriff that everyone helped bury the corpse the previous day.
Mm-hmm.
She actually comes into the Blue Bat carrying like a small box that jingles slightly as she walks, and she looks around. And if I remember correctly, it was just Fergis and Nolgrim who are still actually on the ground if everyone else is just getting ready, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
That's right. Nolgrim's at the bar having a drink in his skivvy still.
Then she definitely goes over to Fergus first. She goes, "Excuse me."
Yes, my lady. How may I help you?
I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt what you and your band are doing, but I just wanted to drop this off as a thank you for everything involving my late husband. And she holds out the box to you.
I'm gonna take it and I don't know. Would Fergus know whether it'd be polite or not to open it, or just take it without opening it right now?
It's actually open lid. It's actually got partitions because it's filled with a bottle and a couple vials, so you can just look directly into it.
Okay. Do I know of anything they are, or they just look like magical?
You
vials,
definitely recognize one of them as a bottle of wine.
So he smiles at that, and he He thanks her greatly, and while he isn't going to turn away the gift, as that would be impolite, he basically would ask her if she's sure that she can spare the stuff, and knowing how scarce resources are down here.
She goes, please, it's the least I can do. The 4 vials are potions of healing that we hung on to just in case, and the bottle is of, well, it's an elven wine that me and my husband were hanging on to for a special occasion that I suppose just won't come now. So it's better that you and your group have it. I hope you use them in good health.
Oh, thank you, my lady. I hope to not need them as quickly as we will most likely need them, but we again are sorry for your loss.
Thank you. And thank you again for everything. I wish you safety on all your travels. And that she takes her leave.
So you said there was 4 vials of healing?
Yep, 4 basic healing potions.
Okay, and am I the only one that sees this, or does Nolgrim actually see it?
You're probably over by the fireplace, he's over by the bar, so if he saunters over in his skivvies, he can see it too.
Okay,
He wouldn't saunter over, but he would probably make a note or just kind of notice that the two are talking, but not really knowing what.
Because I wanted to try to sneak away the wine and one of the vials away without people noticing. So I wasn't sure if it was like I would have to roll against his passive or something.
Give me a sleight of hand, and we'll go against his passive, which should be very low because this is Nolgrim.
Yep.
Your passive is, if I remember the handout, I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
9.
9. Yeah. So you beat it by a landslide. So yeah, you take whatever you want.
Okay, I'm going to take 1 potion and the elven wine.
The wine actually has like a label on it. It's high elven wine. I'm not going to try to come up with a fancy elvish name, but you, being a man of refined tastes from Corsiconia, actually recognize the vintage, and it's easily older than anyone in the party. So
He's definitely keeping that.
Oh
for
yeah,
a special day.
On the surface, it would go for quite a pretty penny. So, and purely out of character stuff, that bottle of wine was in the module and has nothing to do with your preferences as a character, Richard.
Still enough to bring a tear to his eye, just the sheer notion of wine. Finally.
Afterwards, though, he would take the case over to Nolgrim. It seems the widow wanted to thank us for bringing her husband's body back and show him the 3 vials that are remaining. She tells me that these are potions of healing, and they should help us with our travels.
Very kind indeed. I'm glad that she could repay a kindness with a kindness. It's good behavior in general. Good practice. Wish she would have said farewell to me, but he would look down, knowing, like, I do not blame her. Suppose I should put some clothes on after all, finish my beer. He'll pluck one of the vials and hold on to it, since he doesn't have his backpack or anything.
And I would then proceed to take the other 2 out to the wagon, let anyone know who's out there, that they're in there, for them to take.
As you walk out, you would see Thrum standing in his skivvies, leaning on one spear, while Eskid eats a turnip out of his hand.
Just ignore him, put the vials in the wagon, and I'm actually going to wander off to look for anywhere that might be selling, like, just regular goods.
Okay. When you're putting in the vials in the wagon, you noticed there's a cloaked, curled up form of a sleeping ivy just in your wagon.
Just going to carefully put him to the side of her and leave her alone, too. He's not trying to rustle any early morning hangovers, so...
Especially funny because it's the children that set off your alarm spell.
Oh. She's a ninja.
Yeah, so you're just going to wander around. So, unless there was anything else we can say that everyone gets their stuff together.
Nope, Nolgrim's got everything he's need.
Oh, in case you guys are wondering, healing potions are considered one light bulk. So,
And it's the regular ones are 2d4 plus 2, right?
I believe so. Yes.
I've now
So
got
make sure it goes
my
up like that.
semi-automatic crossbows, so
Yep. And just for like a little clarity, in my setting, I don't really consider healing potions magical. They're just mixtures of herbs and stuff like that. It's kind of the
I like the
convention-
option of people being like, if they are skilled at alchemy, being able to
Yeah,
make them.
Exactly. It's just really good stuff. I mean, obviously, like the potions, which just for clarity, I'm gonna call elixirs that like turn you into animals and shit, are obviously magical. But like, I heal faster, or mostly that, are just good alchemy.
But yes, would I be able to find anywhere I could buy just what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a lock chest.
A lock chest?
Yeah, preferably one that's made of the either metal or the material they use for the mine here, the marble.
Marble? Ooh, that'd be a very brittle chest.
Yeah, but I mean, if they don't have the metal to make it, that'd probably be better than wood that they wouldn't have down here. So it'd probably be mushroom fibers.
I have a character, Richard. You know that Thrum has a locked chest.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
He wants
He's
his
looking for a
own.
personal one.
Just making sure.
He is sealing up that wine.
Looking around the town square, like other people did the previous day, there aren't really shops outside of like a blacksmith or gnome works. Since you're not wandering around in a drunk stupor, you could roll me a perception an investigation. Sorry, that's the correct one. This is going to be a pretty easy one.
I'm offended by that comment, Gombo. At no point were we stupering.
You were acted pretty supering.
16. It's a green because I have the ability to get a 1d4 on investigation checks because of my racial.
Yeah. I think you can add that in.
I tried. It won't. It just
Okay.
either I have to add an exact number. It won't let me add like another die.
Okay. Either way, that's more than enough. You kind of get the impression that due to the small size of this town, people don't have shops so much because they don't get much like merchant travel through. So instead, they just kind of openly barter with each other. So if you just do some asking around, you can probably find someone that makes chests, and you could just pay them directly. It's very much a word of mouth thing.
Yeah, I'd probably do that then. Just generally talking around, asking anyone who they know if anyone has one for sale. It doesn't have to be a large one, just an average size.
Sure,
Something I can carry by myself, essentially.
Yeah, you're almost certainly going to succeed. So why don't you just roll me a persuasion to see how close to what you want you get. But I look up item.
20.
Wait, can he speak Undercommon?
I know a lot of them speak very minor Dwarven, so it'd probably take a little longer. Maybe disadvantage on the persuasion.
Yeah, give it disadvantage. It's a good call.
Well, it's the same.
Well, then you're good then. Yeah, it takes asking around a little bit. But you find someone that no one really makes stone or pure metal chests, but you can find a fungus wood chest that has metal like banding and a lock on it, which is about as good as you can get.
He would take it if that's what he can find, so he's not too picky right now.
Yeah. Let's see. If you wanted like a smaller chest, right?
Yeah, something that Fergis with a strength of 10 would be able to pick up on his own when it's empty.
Okay, yeah. So that would be, let's say that would be a single gold because it's not the big normal full chest,
No worries.
and it's like 2 bulk.
He's not going to carry it around all the time, but
Yeah, no.
he actually is going to put it in the cart, but he just wanted to have one for personal effects.
And that comes along with a lock and key just for it. It's like the lock is built into it, so.
Gotcha.
It's more like a foot locker when I think about it than like a full chest. The one that's in the back of the cart already, the one that Thrum brought, is like the full size like pirate or Legend of Zelda chest.
Mm-hmm.
Yar.
I think that's it for me right now. I'd probably take it back to the wagon and store it, probably not right next to the other chest, but somewhere discreet and out of the way so it doesn't block anyone's path.
Yeah. This is just kind of on top of everything, so the back of the wagon isn't that big.
Yep. It just seems like something you wouldn't want to put. You wouldn't want to put two chests literally next to each other, is all. So you'd probably try to put it on the other side if it's on one side or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is everyone else just catching breakfast inside the blue bat?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I imagine Fergus earlier rummaging in putting the stuff in the back of the cart would have woken Thrum up from his standing naked in the street, and he would have gone in and gotten dressed before he went down to have a breakfast beer. Because he's classy.
Oh, yeah. About the only thing they serve here is beer and a soup that I might have mentioned before. It's like a mushroom broth soup with cooked fish meat and floating mushrooms in it. Flavor-wise, it's actually pretty good. It's a bit on the peppery side, but that's not necessarily bad. That's just a matter of personal taste. Because of an accidental experience in real life, I've had very high pepper tolerance, so I'd probably be fine with it. Let's just say I was putting pepper in some soup and the lid came off.
I've done that before too. I feel you.
Oh, yeah.
After enough times with extreme pepper, mere mortal pepper does not, stain across your palate.
Lots of people have asked me, hey, does this taste too peppery to you? And I just say, I'm a bad person to ask now.
I just try it and I just say it's fine.
Yeah.
I think your experience with pepper is my experience with garlic. I was somebody that put a lot of garlic on stuff to the point where I sweat it out of my system and I just smelled garlicky.
Okay, I've used a lot of garlic in my time. I've never had to use that much, and I use a lot.
No idea how much pepper I'm talking about, though. I had one of those Costco things of pepper, and the lid came off, and half of it went in. I had to scoop it out, then I watered it down, and then I ended up taking all the constant soup and pouring it into a strainer and rinsing it in the sink, and it was still too peppery.
Jesus.
Anyway.
Nolgrim would order a bowl of soup, and midway through say, "This is actually not too bad. It's good enough to make you forget that the mushrooms are actually coming from the cemetery."
I mean, it could be worse. Normally, they just grow from poo.
I'm sure there's some of that down there, too.
Oh, for sure.
Gotta make do with what you have.
Do. I see what you did there.
Yes. Jesus, it's like eating breakfast with some damn children.
Does that mean you're planning hanging out with us in your skivvies again?
I'm sleepy.
What do you all want to do?
Well, I guess we ought to decide. Are we going to look for some supplies and move on? Or are we going to stick our noses in it?
I don't think Fergus in character has told everybody, so since they're all kind of at the table essentially deciding what to do, he would mention that he scoped out the manor the night before and saw that there was probably around 3 drow. Or at least elves in general, and it might be a bad idea to actually start a fight in the town because it would not for us, but it would probably look fairly bad against the gnomes, and if we're trying to, keep in good relations with them, probably not a good idea to start fights in their basically mayor's house.
No doubt that would just bring another world of hurt upon them when retribution comes back their way.
No doubt it's on its way regardless. But should we introduce ourselves, I will try to restrain my temper.
I think there's nothing wrong with introducing ourselves to the powers that be within this town, namely the mayor or whatever station he has. Lord? Yes, the Lord.
Before we go, is there anyone who can't hold their anger in? Looks directly at Thrum.
I mean, what sort of provocation's taking place?
If they try to attack us, clearly we have to defend ourselves. But if they insult us, I mean, we can either give one back, I guess, but
We can
how about we just
clean
do our
our.
best behavior? What is dwarven best behavior?
It varies from person to person, I
Cleaning
suppose.
off your boots from the blood.
Okay, Thrum, maybe don't do all the talking for us while we're in there.
There's no good talking to be done with the drow.
Well, we're
I
not
have
there
no
to talk
problem
about them.
with meeting the Gnomish leader of this area and giving him some advice on not rubbing elbows with drow, but I don't want to meet any drow. You don't want to meet any drow.
Well, I propose that we gather our supplies first, in case we have to leave town in a hurry. We don't have to miss out.
That's a good idea.
So, Taskill will be the driver ready to go at the moment's notice.
I gotta go AFK. Be right back.
I don't believe we'll have to storm out and bolt like that. Though I'd rather not anger somebody and then stick around overnight and have them try to attack us while we're sleeping. If I know elves, and I don't know drow, but I know elves, they aren't generally the type to do things overly dramatic like that. They're usually more subtle and backstabby.
They'll come for you in your sleep as readily as they'll come for you from behind. But that is for the future. I don't think we'll need to put watch order in place while we're in town, at least not until they're gone and returned. So I'm sure they'll return. In the meanwhile, yes, supplies. I'll see if there's anything I can do for the townsfolk to help us earn a bit of coin while we're here, or at least trade value for supplies. Out of character, that means I'm going to try and use this artisan's blessing to make tools for the people, or repair tools they have, because just need some metal.
Yeah, that would definitely do it. Because if I remember that ability, the ability to make things, you can basically turn any amount of metal into something of a certain value, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Like you could make basically anything within your limit out of one platinum coin.
Yep.
Is that just you can just do that all the time?
It's an hour-long ritual. I think it might use one of my channel divinities, which I only have one per rest at the moment.
Yeah, it does. Any channel divinity is very limited, but it's still if they have something really broken that they need every day, that could be a good way to put our good graces in.
I just want to put it out there that with this infusion of my crossbow, I don't have to have ammo or reload, and I get a +1 to attack and damage.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
Yeah, I've moved my +1 over to armor because, Reasons. Spidery reasons.
Natural 20, he's down.
Tank's down, need a res, out of mana. Ah!
It's just gonna be a year from now, we're at the final battle, just random giant spider comes out, crits, and goes down.
And then just disappears into the nothingness.
He only went down against spiders.
I mean, it'd be a good way for in character to become an arachnophobe. I mean, as if you need an actual reason for that.
All right, so it sounds like Taskill's going to be going out probably to the smithy to see what he can do.
And then maybe some of us go to the mayor or lord, and some of us gather supplies, or do we want to gather supplies and just go as a group to the mayor?
Might be a good idea to divide and conquer.
I don't know. I say we show up to the mayor's place and with everyone there.
Flex on that fucking lord.
Michael's like, I want to drop this grenade and watch it explode.
Listen, Michael lives for detonating a melt bomb at the top of the tower.
Take the ranger who's favored in the meeting.
What are you guys complaining about? It didn't kill you.
Yep, didn't kill them. It's now canon.
Oh, warp shenanigans.
Oh, yeah. All right, so Taskill's tooling. Who's on supply run? Who's going to the Hall of Lord Gurney?
I'll go to the Hall of the Lord.
I'll go to the hall as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thrum will go get supplies.
Okay.
Where's Freya? Maybe Freya and Thrum should go get supplies. She sounds about as bad as Thrum.
No, I think the hall is a fun place.
Well,
Freya
see,
would
maybe
want to go
we
to the
go-
hall in character.
So we got 3 to go to the hall. Thrum's going for supplies. Taskill's going to
Oh yeah, the young dwarves
Help
at it
with
again.
supplies by, offering trade value.
Are we
absolutely.
separating into teams, young and old again?
Yep.
All right. So we'll start with the simplest one. Thrum, give me a persuasion to try to do the same ask around and barter thing that Fergis did this morning.
Yep. It'd be good to have your sheet open.
Probably.
Can so I missed that. Taskill, are you gonna buddy up with Thrum? Go get supplies and go look at the forge? Or are you just going straight to the forge?
As helping, generate trade value for supplies.
Yeah.
So I guess yes.
Yeah, he was going to go to the forge. I was going to cover that in
Okay.
a second. Or I
Okay.
guess the smithy more accurately, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Look at all those flat
Nice.
20s.
Damn.
Another nice dirty 20.
Oh, I like that. Dirty 20.
I got that from a D&D podcast, and I've just adapted it ever since.
I've heard it. I just never use it, but I've heard it a few times. It's
Mm.
pretty good.
So yeah, when it comes to buying rations, you have absolutely no trouble haggling with the mushroom farmers or the people who fish out in the stock lake over here.
Perfect.
So
We're not on the map of the town, by the way. We're still in the.
Oh, I am so sorry. That's
Little
on me. I'm tunnel visioning. Here we go. You guys should see everything now.
It just has to load up.
Oh Lord.
Checking them out. There we go.
All right.
All right.
So, rations would be 5 silver pieces per one person's daily rations. On your current roll,
All right.
and you can choose if they will be fish or salted fish or mushrooms. The salt is to preserve them. That's entirely up to you. It's rations either way.
Okay. I'll do some math and get back to you.
Okay.
flavorful choice about the flavor of our fictional food.
Mm-hmm. Well, certain things spoil under certain conditions. You never know.
True.
I mean, just wait until I set your wagon on fire when you're out in the wilderness and the panic sets in.
I mean, we have a ranger that can make good berries now if you took the spell.
Mm-hmm. Did they get to second level? Either way.
Wait, did you say Ranger?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Nice. Okay.
All right. Taskill, you go to the smithy, and definitely, while none of their tools are broken per se, they're definitely of a lower quality. Certainly not up to dwarven standards.
Indeed.
There's just like a gnome there working on like repairing a bunch of little chisels. It's not like a full-on forge, it's just a tiny little smithy workshop there. The gnome sees you enter in. He goes, heard there was dwarven folk in town. What can I do you for?
Hey, we're aiming to be leaving soon, so I'm looking to find a way to generate some goodwill and some coin for our travels. I was wondering if you'd be interested in having your forge blessed by the Father Mountain and Mother Fire.
I reckon I don't know much about your gods, but I'm not one to turn away a good blessing. Old Smithy here's been holding up a long time. Tool's a little bit worn. I'll take whatever help I can get.
Excellent. And I shall get started. 'Tis a rather lengthy process to do it correctly. Break out a few candles and some small incense out of my priest pouch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'll be doing for an hour.
So you're just like, are you going to be making him like new tools or something like that?
Yeah, let's improve his tools.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you can just work with the metal he already has, so it doesn't cost you anything out of pocket there. And basically, I'll just let you know, since there's literally no chance of you failing this. It's automatic successful. It's a class ability. He's going to be absolutely blown away with the improved quality of the smithing tools that you made him. So as long as it's within reason, he'll do any metalworking jobs you need while you're in town pro bono.
Cool.
Any like material cost, the expense will definitely be outweighed in the long term through having better quality.
Excellent.
That's a nice class.
Oh yeah.
All right, now to the young guns who are going to the Hall of Lord Gurney.
What could go wrong?
Mm-hmm. You go up there. You're not exactly stopped. Out in front of the front door, there's like two gnomes that are obviously standing guard duty with some pickaxes. They don't really have armor or anything. They're wearing just like fabric jerkins, which is just normal person clothing, but it is a uniform. And as they spy you guys coming, they were like leaning up against the wall very casually. They straighten up.
Fergis would go. Actually, no, he doesn't speak Undercommon. Who does speak Undercommon? It'd be Nolgrim, right?
Yes, Nolgrim does.
Yeah, so you would push Nolgrim ahead then.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning. We are passing through, and we're interested in speaking with the lord of the village, town.
Yeah, either way.
Oh, Fastervault.
We did a kindness to your people and have befriended several, so we at least want to make an effort to reach out to the powers that be to at least make a face meeting.
One of the gnomes goes, "Of course. Word of your exploits have already reached Lord Gurney's hall. One moment. And just opens up the door and ducks inside. Like, awkward silence, just the other gnome there, like, rocking from foot to foot, not knowing what to say.
Nolgrim would turn to Fergis and say, social interactions are probably your strong suit. I could translate for you, but I would recommend that you spearhead any social interactions.
That's fair. I just figured it'd be better to start without a translation. Hopefully Lord Gurney himself speaks some Dwarven. Even if it's a little rusty, it'll make things easier.
No, that's perfectly understandable. Just probably don't want me speaking to the big Lord Mucky Muck. I don't know how. I mean, it could go worse, but I'm not really one for gnome traditions as much as Dwarven traditions, and not exactly widely accepted as appropriate.
It could be worse. You could be spouting out about how we're coming to conquer the Underdark like Thrum would be. So.
That's a fair point, though. I wouldn't entirely put it past me if I get on long enough to rant.
Oh, Lord. Takes a couple deep breaths.
I still love the idea of people saying conquer the Underdark, because that really is just saying I'm going to conquer the planet.
And to be fair, I wouldn't put in those exact words, but more along the rightful throne of this domain and yada yada yada. But so not overtly say conquer it, but simply imply it. I'm more tactful like that.
Just tries his best to put on a brave face.
Thankfully, the gnome standing with you is not very good at his Dwarven and has no idea what you're saying. Eventually, the first gnome does come back. Says, Lord Gurney, he speaks the truth but slowly, welcomes you into his hall. And they open up the doors for you to go in there.
Thank you very much.
As you all... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, I was saying, yeah. I was agreeing with going ahead and...
As you guys enter in, it's not like a huge hall, but it's probably the largest room that you've been in Fastervault. About 20 feet wide, 40 feet deep or so. It's as I said, like a rectangular room. It's got 8 pillars running down the middle of it, and in the center of it is like it's like a long one of those elongated fire pits, like in a Viking style longhouse. If you played Skyrim, you've seen them a million times.
Mm.
On the other side of the entryway that you guys walk through, there's gnome guards on either side. Just a little bit ahead of them on either side of the hallway of the hall space, you see 2 drow wearing obvious like uniforms with kind of like helmet-like masks. And at the exact far opposite of where you enter, you see a gnome sitting on a a stone uplifted dais with a throne chair. He's actually wearing like a metal breastplate with like an amulet on it. He's got like a little circlet on his bald head. And standing off to his left is another drow wearing just fabric robes that look very fancy and very diplomatic. And they appear to be engaged in quiet conversation as you all are entering.
As we kind of lead into the center, and probably around the time that the drow and the lord's conversation starts to seem to wane and look towards us.
Oh yeah.
Nolgrim would speak up in Undercommon, of course, and say, "Hail! We are here." Or sorry, let me rephrase that.
Yeah, no problem. Take all the time you need.
Yep. Hail! I present to you Fergis, heir of the throne of Dammerhall, and would kind of offer a bow and gesture towards Fergis, who is probably oblivious to the introduction you just laid out.
I mean, he does hear Fergis and Dammerhall,
Yeah.
which is the same in both languages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stands up straight, tries not to like look him in the look Nolgrim in the eye, being like, "The fuck, bro."
Nolgrim will look back and wink.
He would
Was
step
that
forward
a
a little.
Kenneth moan?
No. But he would step forward and greet them and introduce himself as Fergis. I can't remember what we've decided on his dad's name, but his dad's son, kind of like how they do that naming convention.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, actually, it's just on your sheet.
Yeah, I think it is.
I'm just curious myself at this point. It's not that important.
It's on my bio. Fergus Braddock's son.
Brazikson.
Introduce himself. Do the normal pleasantries. He's speaking in Dwarven. And he's like would speak and ask if Gurney himself spoke Dwarven.
Yeah, he does reply in Dwarven.
Fergus,
And he says,
but bravely.
runs away bravely. Nice. I do like the gnome last name
Yeah.
style. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, Gurney, because this is obviously Lord Gurney, straightens up and says, "Welcome, Fergus Brackenson. I am Lord Gurney, he who speaks the truth but slowly. You are welcome within my hall. And please, allow me to introduce you to my honored guest from our drowned neighbors." Make sure I get his name right. Garius Malathorn.
He would turn to the guy and nod and speak in Elven. "It is delightful to meet you, sir."
"A pleasure, I'm sure," he responds back in slightly accented Elven, but you understand it just fine. He doesn't incline his head or anything, he just says that.
Mm-hmm.
Lord Gurney's... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead first. I was
Yeah.
trying to think of something.
He says, Lord Gurney says, "I am pleased that you've made your way to see me. I've heard a lot about what you and your fellows had done, and the terrible news to the late Sheriff Gunther."
Yes, it was a sad thing that we weren't able to arrive in time to save him from the draining of such vicious creatures. But I'd like to think that we showed up in time to save as many as we could.
Indeed, Fastervault owes you a debt of gratitude.
By the way, if anyone has anything they would wish for me to discuss with them, feel free that we could say that we discussed this beforehand, because other
How
than
about that all
introductions.
drow must leave and kill themselves upon their own sword.
How about that a plan Z?
And for Nolgrim and Freya, it's not even like hidden. The drow are like big time eyeing you guys. Like big time. And Gurney is completely oblivious to it.
Nolgrim would have mentioned that, see if we could get hold of any sort of maps or any ways of the Underdark so we could, know the best routes that could potentially lead us where we're going.
Yeah. So between
and potentially
Nolgrim and Fergus.
any rumors of Dwarven ruins, particularly latter.
Between Nolgrim and Fergus, that would probably be relayed. I'm not going to act out asking them,
Yeah.
but
Gurney would say once again in Dwarven, "Well, I'm not exactly certain about any map makers or the lands here in Upper Voiths, or Azathir, sorry, no Voiths, Upper Azathir. But my good friend here, Garius, he's much more well-traveled. I'm sure he would be more than willing to answer your questions." And he turns Garius.
by the way, when we're speaking in Dwarven, do they look like they're understanding us?
Roll me an insight.
And you say what you were going to say, Loki.
Huh?
You were saying something in the middle, and I interrupted you, I think.
Oh, no.
Dirty 20.
Mm-hmm. You definitely get the feeling that he knows exactly what's being said.
Okay.
At least Garius does. It's a little. You're not like rubbernecking to get a read on the guards behind you at this point.
Yeah.
And just confirming this, Garius does say, "It is true," and he's speaking in Elven right now.
Mhm.
That I have seen more of Upper Azathir. Tell me, what dwarven kingdom did you say that you hail from? I believe that your compatriot over there mentioned a name that you're an heir to.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm from the city of Corsiconia on the surface. Though we are looking for the ancient ruins of Dammerhall. And then, not like he would just say the name. He wouldn't. I'm trying to think of anything else he would add, but that's probably where he would end it. Never mind.
And he says Dammerhall. And at this point, he switches to Undercommon and turns towards Lord Gurney. So, Fergus, you're out of the loop, but Nolgrim hears this.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, Lord Gurney, I do not mean to make a fuss, but I am familiar with the Dwarven kingdom of which he speaks of. Dammerhall and my people have something of a tense history. I need not go into full lengths, but there has been a great deal of suffering upon my kind at the hands of the dwarves of Dammerhall. And Lord Gurney responds again in Undercommon. He goes, well, certainly, Garius, that was a long time ago. There's no reason for there to be, any lingering tensions about that. Certainly nothing to be hostile about. And Garius goes, nothing to be hostile about for certain, but the presence of them might be disturbing to our continued diplomatic relations.
Nolgrim will be translating that for Fergus under his breath.
Oh, yeah. Let me actually roll a perception real quick. I'm going to roll this one publicly see you guys now.
And would it be an opposed roll against anything that...
Nah, this is just like a general. See if he does it. Yeah, his elven ears perk up and notice that, and you get it quickly fades as soon as you see it, but it's definitely like a dirty look directed at Nolgrim. For return.
When Nolgrim would finish translating, Fergus was like, I'm sure our ancestors were no saints, though I assure you, Lord Gurney, that it was not a one-way street in terms of collateral damage and just damage overall. But again, as Lord Gurney said, Lord Garius, I have no ill will towards your people, and I hope that your people will harbor no ill will towards us. We're just looking to recover some lost legacy, as it is.
Freya would, at this point, she would speak up in Dwarven, because that's all she speaks.
You probably speak Common, too.
Oh, yeah, and Common, obviously, because that's the default language.
Yep.
So I guess Common.
I don't think anyone here speaks Common, honestly.
Yeah, were the Drow speaking Common, or
they were speaking Elvish and Undercommon. This is all you've heard so far.
Okay. Freya would speak up and say, You have it on my honor, as the daughter of Taskill, the favored disciple of the Standing Forge Lord, that all we seek is our ancestral home.
And you say that in Common or Dwarven?
It's in Dwarven.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's like telephone with these languages. I love it.
Right.
That's why I wanted to point it out earlier. I think that's one of the little pieces of flavor that make this campaign interesting.
Yeah, it's really good. It's something that doesn't come up in much surface games, and I like it. Garius obviously understands, and he does respond in Elven, kind of speaking to the room at large. And he says, well, if you are reclaiming your ancestry, will you be taking up residence in Dammerhall again? Will there be more future aggressions against my people? We existed here before you built that city.
I can't speak for all dwarves, as I'm sure you can't speak for all elves. I, myself, and those around me wish nothing but to reclaim our lost home. If there was any infighting, we would any fighting in between us, I would happily try to resolve it vocally before any actions were taken and try to resolve things. But we will not just sit there being attacked. We will defend ourselves if needed, if that's what you're implying.
You assume that the drow will be attacking you. He's like raising his voice to oratory, and he's switched to undercommon for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone in the room understands.
Though, to be fair, you were the one that brought up past transgressions that do not even apply to me or those present.
Yes, they were long before my time. I did not wish to bring up any of that. I was just here for a simple meeting with Lord Gary to introduce ourselves as newcomers.
But yet you speak of aggression.
I disagree. You are the one that brought it up. We simply wish to share greetings with this lord, and you decide to mention hostilities of the past. Why not leave them there? Especially since, again, that was long generations past that have nothing to do with me and mine currently present.
During this whole exchange, Gurney is just sitting on his throne, looking back and forth with like one of those weak "what's going on" smiles.
And I'll have you know, sir, I have no ill will towards any elf. One of my closest mentors growing up was an elf, and I harbored them no ill will, and I hope to harbor you no ill will.
I have lots of elf friends.
I know, right? Some of my best friends are elves.
Yeah.
I know.
Some of my best friends are knife-eared bastards.
I can't even remember what I was going with.
Garius interjects. You've all been interjecting on him, and says to you, Fergus, "Oh, you were mentored by a drow?"
Unfortunately, no. This is my first meeting with drow. They are known as high elves above.
So, of course, all elves share the same history and culture.
Clearly, all dwarves on your analysis share the same hostility towards you.
Ooh, raconteur. Here's what we're gonna do, Richard. We're gonna roll a opposed persuasion check, you and I.
Okay. Do I get advantage because what's his name? Nolgrim's helping me?
Nah, because of the language barriers.
No, that's fine.
Actually, I'm gonna.
Oof.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's any better. Also, I realized when I rolled his perception, I rolled persuasion. The results probably wouldn't have changed, but still. All right. All right, let me figure out how I want to word this.
Take it.
That's just gauging how like the room is responding, basically. Both you and Malthorn are pretty like set on your own standpoints. So
yeah, and it makes sense that he's rolling higher than me because he's a little bit more skilled in the diplomatic game anyway. Considering he's a diplomat.
And your voice is coming through Nolgrim, who's like, "No, he didn't."
Well, I'm speaking in Elven whenever I'm speaking to the Elven people.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Also, if you want to just copy paste the name I put for him in chat there, Richard, for your notes.
Yeah, I will.
I'm trying to get better about that for you. Make it easier. He tightens his jaw a little bit. Indeed. And then this is when Gurney interjects and he goes, Now, there's no need for this all to be tense, and he's speaking in Dwarven.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, listen, guys, I'm sure that our esteemed dwarven guest here means nothing by it when he was mentioning that you would attack his people. He's new by his own saying. He doesn't know. And let me see this real quick. And Garius just kind of humps and goes, The courtesy of your hall seems diminished as of late, great Lord Gurney. Thus I must depart. Regardless, to show you that we hold no grudges for anything, I was instructed by my Baroness to give you this gift, obtained at grace cost from the surface as a token of our esteem. And he pulls out like a brightly colored wrapped box, and he hands it toward. It's very small. It's like a cigar box size. And he hands it to Lord Gurney, who is literally just like a child on Christmas morning. Just tears up that shit right in front of you. And he opens it up, and his face just lights up, and he's like, "Ooh, candies! They're so hard to find here underground." Like, literally like a child.
Nice.
And Darius Malthorn says, "Now I will begin collecting my things to depart. You will receive word from my Baroness about the setting up of an embassy here." And he gives a bow to Lord Gurney, and he kind of walks past you, giving you a very snide, hidden look, Fergis, as his two drow cronies flank him as they take a side door into like what must be the guest area of the interior of the hall.
Nolgrim will shout out, "Safe travels, friend," in Undercommon.
They don't respond. Gurney's just marveling at the candies before he closes the box. He goes, "Ooh, I'll have to have those later today."
So I want to ask him a question, but kind of do it in a subtle way to make it seem like I'm not just probing him for information.
Mm-hmm.
So I would want to during just a casual conversation of us talking to Lord Gurney and stuff, try to get some information out of him about what the drow have been asking about, talking about the embassy and stuff here. Any details he could how that double talk that I clearly cannot do.
Oh yes. Thankfully, just after 2 minutes of conversation, he basically just tells you everything. You barely apply pressure, and he's just like, "Yeah, let me tell you the whole deal."
This guy's guile is a negative number.
Oh yeah, big time. Basically, without needing to go into the entire thing, I can do the same yada yada. Drow showed up maybe about a week ago. Not a week ago, longer than that. They had discussed that they want to expand the trade since they're two civilizations here in Upper Azathir. They want to establish an embassy to have a strong drow diplomatic presence in Fastervault. They gave him a big tour. They showed him all the taverns, the quarry. They showed him the armory over here.
Oh, that's not good.
And they just
I like to think he says that in character.
He says it in common because he knows better.
Yeah, when you say it in common, he just goes, What? What was that?"
Yeah, but I imagine him saying it in common is like anyone in any language going, "Ay, caramba."
Yeah, basically, but still, Gurney's not social queuing here.
Oh, nothing. I was just trying to remind myself of something I have to do after our pleasant conversation.
Ah, yes, I understand. That's why I write things down. But yeah, mostly they've just been like discussing possible diplomacy as well as just general pleasantries for the last couple days.
Another thing, like he would do that double talk trying to get out of him, though it doesn't seem like he really needs to right now. It's just old habits and all that. Fun to find out if there's any in particular spot that the Drow spent extra time in. Like, did they spend a lot of time at the armory, or did they spend a lot of time somewhere else? Like they were like scoping something out.
Roll me a deception for this one.
Gotcha.
Since it is a little bit of a suspect question. Nope, he's entirely oblivious to it. They spent almost their entire time in his hall after the tours.
Well, we've already acclimated ourselves to the town. Might we get a tour of your halls? I mean, no better person to do it than the man of honor himself.
Oh, I'd love to, but proper etiquette is to see off one guest at a time. Oh, did I lose people?
No, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh,
Because
wow,
then
yeah.
roll 20, everyone just disappeared.
Might refresh.
Oh, yeah.
See if they did the automatic log out thing.
About to leave the town hall or whatever.
Yeah, he said he was just gonna see off his other guests.
Yeah, it's the 50 or the 100 a year. Wow.
Well, once we get out of earshot, Freya's definitely gonna turn to Fergus and say, "Now, do you realize that they're not just deep elves?
Yeah, they definitely are a more surly lot than some of the other ones I've dealt with.
Conniving and manipulative by nature."
Fucking racist.
I mean, to be fair, I've heard some of the things you guys have said about them. I can't imagine like every single one of their people is the same as that man was.
I was referring specifically to that man.
Oh yeah, that man is a piece of crap. I hold no other ideas other than the fact that that guy can eat a fat one. Whatever dwarven saying is close to that.
Probably what you just said.
Well, I'm sure you won't find many that fall far from him.
So I think it's safe to say that we'll not be able to get the maps that we were seeking, given the person that has them.
Most likely not. We'll have to work together to start charting out our own maps.
I've been doing that all along. In our character, I do have, what was it, cartography? Let me...
I have a calligrapher set, so I can draw the names of shit really well.
No, I got, cartography tools, and I've been sketching out our travel so far.
I'm trying to remember. There was a TV show that made a joke where they're like looking at a map as they're traveling along the sea. One guy's like, "Oh, we need to go a little bit farther north, though." They're like, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, if we continue along this path, we're gonna go through this big sea serpent right here." He's like, "They just put that on the map for decoration." He says, "No."
Oh
I'm
my
pretty
god,
sure-
I've seen that as well.
Pretty sure it's
It's-
accurate. And then like they get there and this giant sea serpent comes out. And he's like, "Freaking told you guys!"
I can't remember what it is, but yes, it's definitely like a they were on a boat. Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah. I love that bit so much.
Although, Gombo, I'm not sure if you looked over my inventory, but for my character background stuff, I do have a map to Dwarven Ruins. I wasn't sure if you have any plans for that, but...
I'll get back to you.
Okay.
That might be like some interior stuff for Dammerhall or something like that.
That's fine. I just wanted to point out so you could begin plotting and scheming.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we better go check on the old guys.
as you guys are like talking amongst yourselves when walking away, the front door of the hall opens up, and it's one of the nameless drow guards comes by, and he's carrying like a back satchel, and he walks past you guys quickly.
How big is this back satchel?
Just like a normal traveling backpack. It's just normal travel.
Not gnome sized.
Not gnome sized.
Do we want to try and trail him, perhaps?
I think it would be good to at least one of us walk back as if they had something to add.
Would you allow me? You guys can trail behind me if you wish, but I might be the best suited for this task, unfortunately.
You would.
Okay. If you think he starts to catch on, just go ahead and head back. It's not that important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'll break away and do like that stealth where I'm not trying to like just hide in the shadows so much as I'm trying to just blend in with everything.
Assassin's Creeding. I got you.
Yes.
Still give me a stealth roll anyway.
Yes, of course.
I'll check, but that'll probably do it. Let me see.
Playing stealthy characters is fun.
It is.
This is actually my first time I'm ever playing a stealthy character.
Yep, you beat it. You tail him. He walks south throughout the entire town, and he eventually, if you're looking at the map, he stops like around here.
Can you shift click so it'll take me right to it? Okay.
Yeah, where he sets down the bag and just leans against the wall. He hasn't seen you. You figure that's probably where they're going to be exiting, so he was just...
That's the one that goes into the one where we would have had to break down the wagon to get past the narrow crevasse, right?
The Needle's Eye, yes.
Okay, so at least we know which direction they're going.
Yeah.
Okay, he wouldn't linger too long because he didn't want to risk getting caught. How close would I be traveling to him, by the way? I just want to see what he's carrying. If I can notice.
Roll me a perception, just in general.
Does it look like there's a lot of boxes, a lot of just edible supplies, that kind of stuff?
Just roll me a perception, we'll see.
Nope.
Yeah, it's a full backpack, so...
Okay. No, I would just go ahead and turn back and head back to the Blue Bat.
Probably around this time, Taskill's finished up with his blessing of the smithy. Thrum, it's been an hour, so you've probably gathered up whatever supply foodstuffs that you wanted.
Yep.
It's easy to say you all meet back up.
Fergis coming in last and be like, well, from the looks of where I tailed them, it looks like they're heading through the Needle's Eye, probably heading back to their big old fortress.
Though I can't help but wonder if the fate that befell the good sheriff had something to do with the ambassador and his kin, given that Drow have a lengthy history with their eight-legged brethren.
What is the name that was on that letter we found amongst the money?
Oh.
Because it said something about Voltus, and then it had a name.
Yeah, it was Baroness. Let me look it up. Oh wait, actually, I have it right here. Because he did mention a Baroness.
But I'm saying, is that the same one that he mentioned in the Hall of Lord Gurney?
Yeah, Lord Gurney would have told you. It was Baroness Satha Sevrista.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was the one that the Drow had mentioned to Lord Gurney while we were at the attendance?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then, yeah, 100%. They had arranged the spiders in order for them to not be able to send help, essentially.
And they left in a huff and a hurry, you say?
Yeah, it seems that it seemed like they were getting close to planning on leaving anyway, but our presence here probably gave them more information to give out that they wanted to leave in a more hurry.
You have seen their faces when I declared Fergis's right to the throne.
Please don't tell me you really did that. I was hoping you didn't.
Of course I did.
I hate myself.
I bet that put a scare in them.
Oh, you have no idea. They're already wetting his trousers, thinking about the fighting that took place back in the day. Apparently, it left an impression.
Can I get a drink over here?
Hey, but there's a point to be made here. I'm sure they'll be coming back much sooner than we think. Treacherous little bastards. You said they toured the armory.
Yeah, from what I gathered, they toured the armory as well as the rest of the town.
I hope I'm wrong, but is Nivy there?
She's not with you currently. You could try to go track her down if you want to.
Might have to. Think I'll have to have a job for the wheelass. And Thrum. Or no, it wasn't Thrum who was with me.
Yeah.
We might need to see if the captain's widow has enough pull to let us inspect the armory as well, and quickly. If they're planning an attack, they've probably done something.
While on the topic, go ahead.
As far as I'm concerned, any move we make now is just preemptive to the knife that's going to end up in our back.
I think it wouldn't hurt if we found somebody that is competent to press on this knowledge to that the drow might have had a hand in the ambush. I mean, the Lord I would be ill-advised. He's a well-meaning but ill-suited for these sort of
even if we told him.
I have an idea. We would need to track down Kidge, often seen. He could vouch for us of where we were and where we recovered him. And we have the letter that was addressed to whoever had the platinum we found. And we found it in the sanctum of the Siskrel. Should there be any reason that the drow would be that far past Fastervault otherwise? Could share our assumptions.
I think it may not be a bad idea to give this information to the sheriff's wife there. I'm sure she's got a bit of a reputation as well, being in the relationship with her now deceased husband. If anybody could have some weight behind those words, I think she would be the one.
There's also, didn't you guys say that you found a master of the quarry? We could probably relay the information to him as well if you wish.
A foreman.
Yes, the foreman. It wouldn't hurt. Good, strong, salt-of-the-earth folk is not the sort to take kindly to any attempts to undermine their people.
As Freya is carving the runes into her crossbow, she says, "I'm not entirely sure what's the position of Gurney?
Lord Mayor or something?
Lord.
Mayor.
Just Lord.
I'm not entirely sure Lord Gurney hasn't made peace with the fact that there's going to be an invasion himself.
I don't think he even realizes.
Yeah, he doesn't seem the brightest bulb of the bunch.
Did Fergis tell us that he had trailed that one drow over to near the eye? And did the drow, I was confused, did the drow leave that bag there?
No, he was waiting for the rest of his party to catch up with them.
Oh, okay. So he walled there and stopped. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's our plan of action? You have notes?
Taskill wanted someone to find Ivy. I can handle that if the rest of you, some of the other ones want to go contact the wife as well as the quartermaster.
I could speak with the foreman, but I think given that the eye she had for you earlier today, I think you'd be best suited to speak to the widow.
There's no time to lose, if my suspicions are correct. When you find her, tell her to get that box away from the lord of the town.
Oh, that's a very good point.
We're looking for the foreman, the wife, the widow. Yeah, we're looking for the foreman, the widow, Ivy, and what's the other gnome's name?
Bridge often seen?
Yeah, do we want to get him?
Yeah,
I figured he'd be a good way to vouch for us to the foreman, is what I'm saying.
I can probably go and get him.
Yeah, if you guys want to do that.
You should also let him know about the letter and the money.
Yeah, I was actually going to transcribe the letter. Hey, I can actually use my calligraphy supplies.
There you
Transcribe the letter to the word in term, and even try to replicate the handwriting. I'm not trying to make a carbon copy where it looks identical. Just a way to show that this is how we found it.
Well, thankfully, with your criminal background, you're actually very good at forging signatures. So you know the trick where to copy it. You just do the signature upside down. So your brain registered it is drawing a picture rather than handwriting.
Well, there you go. So,
As I've told people, I don't do crimes. I just know how.
Nolgrim
Don't make
good
a
points.
forgery. Just tell the folks what you saw. You
Well, he's
start
just-
forgering around here, and the drought
No,
used against you.
I'm very clearly not making it a forgery, just showing the handwriting we found
Yeah.
so they can vouch that it's Elven.
I'm just saying he's done forgeries in the past.
Gotcha.
But Nolgrim made a good point. I probably should go find the widow, as I had spoken to her earlier today. Freya was going to go find Kidge and the foreman, I think.
So before we all split up, and Thrum's going to look around and do a perception.
Okay.
If you'll let me.
Yeah, absolutely.
To see, is that the right thing to do? To see if anyone is around listening to their conversation?
Yep, that's the right one.
Okay.
You're in the clear.
Bloody clear. We haven't discussed option B, which is we know which direction they're going. We could double time and catch up with them before they ever take their message back to their Baroness.
Then they would know that something happened to them on the way from Fastervault, which would put the gnomes at.
Trust me, Sonny, I can make it look like some spiders killed them.
I do not
With the
believe
haste
they'll
that
do
they
that.
said they left, I'm sure they're at full scuttle through the tunnels.
Yes, and as much as I would go along with this if everyone was on board, I don't believe it's a wise decision.
I think we might, as much as I'd like to, I think we might cause more trouble than it's worth. Either way, I think we're going to have to end up with more dark elves than we can manage on our own. So I think it's best to spend our time gathering our allies here.
Though Thrum does bring up a good point. Who's going to be the one to take the candy from the child?
That's what Ivy's for.
Ah, I like that.
I picked that up from what Taskill said. So I'll find the widow, and then who's finding who else?
I'm finding
Wait, I
Kidge.
thought you were finding Ivy.
But Nolgrim brought up a good point that I had some discussion with her before.
Mm.
So
I
I
think
figured that's.
you-
I mean,
I
I can
think
go
the
find
cleric
Ivy.
could take care of the widow.
I was just going to say is that Thrum and Taskill have also discussed with the widow before. They were the ones
Okay,
that
that's
married
fair.
her husband.
We
Yeah.
I said
Under-
Taskill goes to the widow.
So yeah, I'll send the thief to find the thief. Got it.
Yeah.
Here, so I'm writing this.
Taskill to the widow.
I'm saying, Taskill, do you want to go find the widow?
Yeah, I figured that'd be mine. Because
Okay. Who's going for the foreman?
Nolgrim will
think
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your name is spelled with an E.
And how about Freya and Thrum go to find the captain of the guard?
Do they have a
Kidge.
captain of the guard?
No.
Yeah,
it-
Kidge.
Well,
No.
he's just the one you
guy
talked
that
to.
Yeah.
Ivy, that would be Fergis. And Kidge is Freya. And so I think who's
That
not.
leaves Thrum to follow the drow and kill them in their sleep.
I mean, you could.
Thrum, where do you want to go?
You can just leave that one blank. I'll let the GM know.
Okay. I will let you know this because I was thinking about it when I was thinking about your class abilities earlier today, Cope. You have that one ranger ability that lets you like ignore difficult terrain when traveling overland, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Or he could move at normal speed at stealth.
Yes. So I'll just let you know is that if you were by yourself, no wagon, no other party members, and you marched at the fast pace, you could probably cover 2 hexes a day if you were on your own, which is much faster than everyone else.
You'll kill them all.
And that's how we lose Thrum.
I mean, to be fair, it's 3 drow. It's not impossible. It's just a hard fight. All right, so
Thrum comes back level 5. What happened?
yeah. Well, they had a basilisk, so you took care of business as you do.
Thrum the White when he returns.
Even more racist.
He's actually not. He didn't come back like Gandalf. He just scalped the drow, and he's wearing their white hair.
Okay, so I say we just go down the line here, one at a time.
Sounds good.
Just Taskill, go.
Yeah. Taskill, it's not too difficult to find where Esmira, the widow, lives. And you're able to track her down. I assume you just knock on her front door.
Mm-hmm.
She opens it up like a crack and sees you. And opens it up again. Yes?
Slight bow. I'm sorry to bother you, my dear lady. I have a favor to ask that I hope is just the suspicions of an old dwarf. But do you have any pull with the town guard?
Please come in, and she welcomes you inside. Normal, like it's pretty basic.
Yep.
She goes, we're very small staffed here with the guard. With my husband and the others. It's just the ones that you rescued and the guard that are in Herney's Hall. They're the only ones left. But what do you need? If you've done something, I'm not going to tell anyone. But
no crime has been committed by us. But to begin with where my suspicions start, when we slew the beasts that took your husband, we found among their old drow coinage. And I've learned from my compatriots that the drow toured many places, but most interestingly, the armory of your town guard. I would like to be able to inspect it myself and ensure that they've left no trickery behind.
Roll me a persuasion at advantage.
Persuasion.
Because there's definitely the implication that you're saying the drow killed her husband, so that would definitely give you an edge in this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, set 17 will definitely bring it home for you. She's quiet for a moment, saying, "I'm sorry. Are you saying that the drow? You think the drow paid the Skizral to kill my husband?"
Not him specifically, but perhaps anyone who took his task to heart to go seek aid.
She's quiet for a moment. The grip on the table that she's sitting at tightens for a moment before it releases. It goes, "Give me a little bit. I'll ask some people. I'll see about getting you to the armory."
I understand. Thank you, ma'am.
She just nods. If you excuse me, I should get on this right away then.
Aye.
Once you head on. Nolgrim, you're headed to find
What was it?
Tammer, even the stones listen.
Yep.
He is definitely easy to find. The quarry is on shift right now. It's the closest thing this town has to a day-night cycle. It's just the shifts at the quarry. And he's up on like an edge of the platform, kind of like getting like a bird's eye view of the progress that's happening on the core. He's leaning on his pickaxe like a cane, as always. I'm not going to do the voice, but I'm going to try to old man it. So
That's fine. Is there anybody else immediately next to him, or is it pretty private for normal conversation?
He's just currently just by himself, and there's lots of clinking from the quarry down below. So
Nolgrim will wander up next to him and say, "Good morning, Master Foreman. Do you have a minute for a few words?"
The stones aren't known for moving quickly.
That they are not. Me and my kindred I'm trying to remember what kindred means. Like brother? I don't know. Anyways,
You used it correctly.
Okay. Me and my kindred just got done meeting with Lord Gurney and the visitors that are apparently departing as of now, and come across a few. We're able to draw a few connections that I feel is important to get into the ears of those that have some means to get some use out of it potentially. It goes without saying that you know what happened to the poor sheriff who sought to seek aid for your homeland, yes?
You suspect the drow had something to do with that?
We got something a little bit more tangible than just suspicions. In our attack on the Skizarel that slain him and his men, we did find a note calling out character. Where is it?
Othis?
The DM one right there, south of Sebastian.
Yeah. Naming the Baroness herself, and again in a spider's den, that it would be an odd place to put any sort of note like that, unless if it was a missive to make sure that any support to this town was cut off. So I feel that, especially with the conversation that's been taking place between the ambassador and your lord, that a storm is on the horizon, and I want to ensure that you and yours are not caught flat-footed.
When I heard that Sheriff Gunther was dead, I figured the drow had something to do with it. I remember the trouble they gave us before Lord Gurney's father cut that deal with them. Didn't think they'd give up so easily. You saying you got proof for this?
We got a letter calling out the Baroness explicitly.
It's Lord Gurney is the one you have to convince. The quarry folks listen to me. But if you're going to want to do anything about it, you're going to need to get the rest of the town on your side, and Gurney will go a long way to that. You don't need to try to persuade me none, Master Dwarf. I believe you.
I just know that in my short speaking with Lord Gurney, he doesn't seem capable of keeping secrets close to the chest and something like this. It is a delicate matter, to say the least, so I'm sure we'll get to him eventually in one way or another, but I just want to ensure that those that are truly capable of doing something without potentially getting into a diplomatic blunder were at least on their toes.
The stonecutters will be ready. You don't have to worry about that. Be patient with Lord Gurney. He comes across as a simpleton, I know, but you have to remember he was a child weaned on the teat of peace. He doesn't know. His heart's always in the right place, even if his instincts aren't.
I think that is a very accurate description of the man from what little I've known. So, again, that is why I'm wanting to ensure that we keep the wheels greased on whatever plots are about to take place, and that it is right to be met in kind. But yes, we are spreading word to those that we feel should know, and hoping that it makes it through the proper channels to ensure the readiness of the village.
He starts turning back to the quarry. We'll do our part when the time comes.
And with any luck, we'll be not too far off to lend aid if it comes to it. Take care, Master Foreman.
Mm-hmm.
Know that Nolgrim will depart.
All right. Fergus, you're tracking down Ivy?
Yes. And if I can find her, I would like to try to stealth up to her.
Yeah, just roll me a flat stealth just to see if you can do it, because I'll just say you're going to find her no matter what.
And I think you know where this is going. If I can sneak up to her, I want to steal her knife.
Be better if you actually pocketed your own knife.
Either way.
Yeah, you notice that she's like nonchalantly in an alley waiting for a gnome to strike by, perhaps a pickpocketing job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I'm going to try to sneak up to her and essentially slide a hand, whatever knife or weapon she has on her, off of her.
She does have a dagger, so give me a sleight of hand.
Just make out already. Jeez.
Oh,
Not a great roll. I'm pretty sure she'll notice.
perfect.
First.
Time for a natural one. Goes for the knife, grabs the booty.
Call with your hands in her pants.
You managed to get her knife.
Oh.
I tap her on the shoulder with the hilt of it.
She holds up her knife. She holds up your knife and says, "You want this back? I take it." Trade you?
Yeah, sure. To be fair, this is one of the reasons why I was looking for you. If you wish to talk and walk, or do you have a job while you're doing?
Oh no, I'm just entertaining myself. We getting going? Your cousin? I never asked. Nolgrim, he's got like a family resemblance to you. I don't know.
I mean, we're all kind of related one way or another. I think I have a couple uncles on there. One of them's a niece or nephew, or Fergis, and Nolgrim's related to me as well.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, he offered to let me come along, and I know that the beer was flowing freely, but
Yeah, I'd said it before, but I think you were too in your cups at the moment. But yeah, if you would like to come, we'll be more than willing to have you.
cooler.
Though we have some
Yeah.
present work here in the town before that.
Oh, okay. Well,
But
what did you
we
need to talk
have-
to me about then?
and then basically talk and walk, and
Yeah.
I'll let Taskill do the talking about his plan. But I have a feeling what it is. Fill her in on the details that what we've gathered so far, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then,
Next is Freya going to find Krieg often seen.
Yep. He has often seen, so I don't imagine it's that hard.
Yeah, you find him very easily. You practically leave the blue bat and see him across the town square.
Oh, I guess I don't know what time of day it is underground.
It's the town doesn't really go to sleep per se. It just goes in waves. So
there's that feat that makes it so you can understand exactly what time of day it is forever.
super helpful in an underground campaign.
It's all
Freya would go up to him and say, "Hey, I need to talk to you about something. Maybe over a meal."
What's it about? We're a little short-sanded on the guard now. Can talk to you while I walk. What do you need?
Well, I hate to put you through any more of what you've already gone through, but we have reason to believe that the drow are behind what are the creatures, the spider things called again?
Skizrow.
Skizrow, yeah. The attack by the Skizrow. When we were there, we found a letter directly addressing their Baroness, as well as some. It was drow currency, right?
Yeah. Mithara, the Ever Song Follows, identified it as drow currency.
As well as drow currency. So I guess what it really comes down to is your lord is, and I mean no offense, like a child. It's for that reason that I need to ask you to stand with us when we go to confront him.
Salt and stone. I knew the drow had something to do with it. And wait, you're not talking about overthrowing Lord Gurney, right? Because that's not something I'm going to do. I've taken oaths.
No. I simply need you to testify for our credibility on the matter. I'm afraid he won't take it straight from us.
Yeah, no, I can do that. I can do that. Any of the ones that you got out of that cave will.
Okay.
I mean,
And yeah, I would get as many of them to commit as would go.
Yeah, he says he can round them up. All he says is that it's going to be awfully hard for their testimony to be taken seriously if the drow diplomat is there. But you know for a fact he's prepping to leave. So
yeah, I would inform him. Well, it looks like the drow diplomat is readying himself to leave.
Mm.
Yet another worrying sign. As soon as we showed up, the drow felt the need to exit.
Mm.
Okay.
He goes, yeah, no, I'll gather people up. Well, you'll have our words behind you. And then with that, Thrum, what are you doing?
Trying to find
You cut
Miss
out.
Wife number 5.
Thrum, what you doing?
Did you get my GM text to you?
I did, but now we can do it in actual roleplay. Because I have some stuff too.
So he's going to go back to the Blue Bat.
Mm-hmm.
Check the cart, make sure the cart's in a good spot. Eski's ready to go. Give her a little bit to eat, and then go inside and head over to a table by himself and wait for his Mietha, the only waitress.
Yeah,
owner / bartender.
Yeah,
Yep.
she does it all.
So when she comes over, he's going to say, "My lady, I need to talk to you for a bit. If you could bring a brew and one for you and have a seat."
She actually already has a mug of beer and slides over to you. Thankfully, your tab is very generous. Because, yeah, I've been actually wanting to talk to one of you myself, but she sits down. It's very quiet right now.
I'm not one for mincing words, so I'll just put it on the table. We have proof that the drow paid the Siskel, who jumped your militia and killed your sheriff. And we know that the drow paid them to move up into the tunnel. And from what I understand, this Lord Gurney is just going to sit and roll over and let the drow move in and take over the town. So my question to you is, who can we stand behind here in town to take up arms and get Lord Gurney to hear reason?
If you have proof, which I have no reason to doubt that you do, I've had suspicions about the drow myself. Either myself or Tamer. Even the Stones listen. Who runs the quarry? We're the two of the more prominent voices in town.
Aye.
Getting us on your side, you'd certainly have a better time of turning Gurney's head.
Well, one of my mates has gone to speak with Tamer. Good fella. He got us into that other establishment on the other side of town after we'd been doused here and went for a walk, but that's another story. He was a good fella, and I think he'll listen to reason too. He's got a good solid head on his shoulders like you do. Would you stand with us and go visit Lord Gurney?
I will speak out in that what you're saying is true to Lord Gurney. He's really well intentioned. He just fixates on the best possible outcome and is not easy to persuade otherwise.
Aye, we say they live with their heads in the clouds.
I don't know what that is, but I get the impression you know what I'm saying.
Yes, it's
Head in the stalactites.
yeah, there went a human phrase. Out of character.
No, that's totally fine. Surface dwarves poke their head out of their holes a lot too. It's like they're not
Yeah,
oblivious.
we've been
And there's an entire
Yeah.
group of dwarves that explicitly like to be on the top of mountains.
Present.
Yep.
yeah.
Fortunately,
I've been topside too long. What was it that you were hoping to chat with us about?
I overheard when you were drinking last night with Iovana. You offered to take her along with you on your journey.
I'm afraid our young Fergis is taking quite a liking to the little lass.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that wasn't just joviality talking. Ivy's had enough hurt in her life.
I believe the lad is keen to have her along as a companion. Between you and me, I'm not much for silly folk, but maybe they'll keep each other happy. Let me put it this way. The young Fergus isn't the most happy down here right now, and if having Ivy along with him makes him happy, I'm fine.
Listen, I'm sure you've noticed by now that Ivy doesn't look like most of the other folk here in this town.
He kind of spin the beer on the table, but not say anything.
Her mother was of Fastervault. I knew her well. But her father was a wood gnome explorer from the surface. He swept into town one day, all grand adventures and big stories of things that he had seen. Ivy's mother was more than a little taken with him. It was something of a torrid romance. However, shortly after Ivy was born, he was just gone. Apparently, our surface wood gnome kin have a different idea of what matrimony is and are more taken with the flight of fancy. He got bored and just wandered off. And of course, Ivy's mother didn't know that much, and she was heartbroken about it. She didn't last long. Since then, Ivy's just been on her own. A child of the town, if you will. I think that's why she gets into as much trouble as she does. Just reminding people she's here. The reason why I'm bringing all this up is because I want assurances that this isn't just going to be that again for her. That you and your lot aren't just going to abandon her when she stops being helpful or entertaining. And she won't just be left out there in the Underdark someplace.
So I don't know if she wants to give a perception roll, but as she tells the story, Thrum is actually not doing a good job at hiding, replaying the many, many wives he has had in the past. Being the traveler, explorer who goes into the Underdark from up top, woos the women with his stories. Now that he's much older, has more than likely had a few children that he is not aware of. He's going to look up, look her dead in the eye and say, "Thank you for sharing that story. you have my word. By the strength of the mountain, I will take care of that child.
She studies you for a moment, then nods and goes, I know enough about dwarves to know that when they give their word, it really means something. I'm relieved to hear that. Well, she stands up. I'll speak for you when the time comes, as you asked. And though your tab is already generous, I won't mark, if she points to the beer that you're drinking, that one on for it.
Cheers to you, man.
And to you. All right. Would you guys say it's around this time that Fergis comes back with Ivy and everyone else starts re-meeting up?
Yep.
Sounds good to me, yep.
Okay. Gathered back around the tavern table. Ivy's there. So he goes, so Fergus mentioned something about stealing?
I had hoped he'd send you off on the immediate, but it seems the drow presented your lord with a present of delights that I suspect are poisoned.
Candy.
Okay.
Well, we need someone to get that box away from him before he eats them all. And croaks.
I
If I'm
mean,
wrong, well, I'll apologize myself.
Wait a minute. We're gonna send the lass in there to break into the Lord's chambers and steal the candy?
Have you seen how sneaky she is?
She probably has all of our knives right now.
Thrum checks his belt.
both
Oh,
her hands are on top of the table, so you're safe.
Turns out she's tail.
There's no doubting the lass's abilities, but come on.
Well, if I'm wrong,
That seems like a rather...
it's one more reason for him to come
have
with us
lost.
when we leave.
Thrum, if anyone else could do it.
What, break the law? Two wrongs don't make a right, boys. Let's walk up there and tell him the damn things are poisoned. Can't we tell if they're poisoned?
Everybody. Now he's interjecting. Everybody, hold on. Listen, as much as I am up for stealing actual candy from an actual baby, I just have to ask, why do we care? I mean, this isn't where you're setting up shop. We can just mount up the wagon with the doll and just blow on out of here before anything else happens. I mean, what's it matter?
Lass, when you see wrong being done, you need to right it.
Yeah, Taskill will slam his fist on the table. Hey, we can't let them knife-eared bastards gain any more power. They already take from your lot the stone, do God knows what with it. When they take over completely, well, then they'll have your lot as slaves, and who knows if we might end up having to see them on the field of battle.
Also, Meathras here is quite a good brewer, and I'd hate to not be able to drink her. What is it, black beer you call it again?
Mm-hmm, just black beer.
And the widow of the late captain's seen enough tragedy for a decade.
Give me a persuasion at advantage, whoever.
I'll do it if no one else wants to.
I mean, I've got it as a skill, but I've got negative charisma, so it's a +1.
I'll take it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
It's a lucky number. Twice.
Yep.
That's the second time today I've rolled double the same thing with advantage or disadvantage.
Ivy goes, listen, if you want me to steal the candies, I can steal them. That's not an issue. I've broken into his hall before. I'll just do it again. I'm just saying, if there is something coming for this town, maybe it's not worth sticking all of our necks out for.
They would hardly stick our necks out by giving them a heads up.
Freya.
That's
They
true.
already know
And if that's all we're doing, then I'm fine with it. I'm just I'm
Should
just
be fair.
saying.
The group of us wouldn't really be able to do much against an entire drow force anyway. So this is just given, like what Taskill said, some forewarned advice as while we continue on in our mission.
Well, I'm sure you can hide easily in the tunnels or in the fungal jungle. Once they've taken the town, I'm sure we'll be next on their list to hunt for, especially given the introduction one of our friends gave them.
The way I see it, the drow are all about being sneaky. We took that away from them. They know, but they also know that we know that they know.
Wait, so they know we know they know we know?
Exactly.
And Freya would just leave her with, I think you'll find that our lot knows what it's like to have your home taken away. And I don't think that's a fate you want for yourself, Ivy.
Hear to that.
Not much of a home. All right, fine. No worries. I'll break into the hall of Lord Gurney. I'll steal his candy and I'll bring it back to you.
We still think that's the best idea, to have this last go breaking the law.
Listen, I break it every day for fun. This is nothing.
But I hate to have the burden upon my head to know that I've told someone to go break the law when I'm not man enough to go do it myself.
I mean, I'll do it. I've broken the law. Hey, Ivy,
half the
break the
freaking
law.
guard are singing your guys' praises. It's honestly not going to be a deal.
Thrum, if it does you better, it's in defense of a life, as foolhardy as that life may be.
Mm-hmm.
It should be known I had a lengthy conversation with the foreman who, while he acknowledges the naivety of the Lord, he is well-meaning and can be. He seemed adamant that if given proof that the Lord wouldn't take it lightly. I mean, we have the letter. It might. I think
we have the letter. Maybe that'll.
I still think it would be good to let the candy disappear while we bring this information, this letter, to the Lord directly. You know, give Nivy a bit of a walk in the park for the task that she has by providing the distraction.
That might be a better idea. While we confront him, have Ivy take it.
That's actually one of the reasons why I brought her back.
But first, I would like the rest of you to accompany me on the inspection of the armory if the widow can arrange it.
That sounds good to me, though. Should that be before or after we speak with the Lord?
Before. If it has been tampered with, then it's all the more evidence to present.
That is a fair point. That is a very fair point.
You think he sabotaged it?
Although,
It
the longer we wait to take those candies away from him, the more and more...
That's why we send Ivy now.
Yeah, I don't need the distraction. I'll be fine.
Okay. That sounds like a good plan to me, then. Alright, so...
Yeah, she's getting up from the table. She goes, listen, just keep in mind what I'm saying. If something is coming, it's just probably not worth dying for. Stuff like this happens in the Underdark all the time. And then she takes her leave.
You'll be careful, and if they catch you, you tell them to send for us.
Don't worry. I'll absolutely finger point.
Nolgrim actually hardly laugh at that one.
Mother, keep the flame in your veins, and Father, mountain hide your steps. We fight the enemy tonight.
Also, don't get caught. I'd rather not be accused of another thing that I probably had participation in.
I'm gonna need another round over here to get over this law breaking.
No, you don't. We need to go inspect an armory.
About 5 minutes after Ivy leaves. Damn it! Why can't I not remember the names here? Ismara. It's probably because I didn't write them. That's why. Ismara sticks her head into the tavern and catches your eye, Taskill, and gives you a nod.
Hey, that's our cue to go. Come, gentlemen and daughter.
Everyone heading over the arm.
Yep.
All right.
Just like to say one thing before we leave. It's not often that I break my goals to go about working on something else, so maybe we should all have one drink and a toast.
Once we get this job done, way to celebrate a successful work day.
Save the drink for celebration.
Best not to keep favors asked waiting in the wings.
Fine.
All right. So you all heading up to the armory?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. As Mira leads you there, there's 2 guards by the door. They're actually 2 of the gnomes that you guys rescued. So they're like, all right, hold on one second. One of them pulls out a key ring. They unlocks the door and it swings open. All right, look around. Best not to take anything just in case, but aren't that many of us to get you in trouble now anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The armory itself is basically just one big storage shed room. As you enter on your left and right, there are 2 slightly larger than life statues of 2 gnomes wearing like breastplates and wielding pickaxes, very like regal poses carved out of marble. And other than that, there's just many alcoves that have weapon racks, mainly just various sizes of crossbow, a couple spears, some war picks, and some looks like some displays of leather armor.
Okay, I'm going to begin inspecting the weapons.
Okay.
Particularly the shafts and see if they've been weakened at all or anything.
Yeah. Nolgrim will look around for foul play as well.
This will be definitely investigations.
I'm going to be actually circling the outside of the armory, seeing if there's anything that they might have, any like ways in through the
There you go.
outside.
Go ahead and walk into the middle and just cast. First detect magic, and if that don't turn anything up, detect poison, because there's a chance they might have, although unlikely, slipped poison into different things, like the insides of armors for contact poison.
Yep.
Well, that's a 25. I'm appropriate because I'm an artificer. And I'm inspecting items.
My investigation should be D4 higher. So
Yeah.
18.
All right, going down the list. Nolgrim, you're not really detecting anything out of the ordinary when you're inspecting the weapons or anything like that. They're of middling quality, what you'd expect from some gnomes. Fergis, you don't really notice anything of foul play on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
It looks just like a normal outside of a building. Freya, you get this before any of Taskill's magical prayers do. As you're inspecting like a crossbow rack, something catches your eye. It's a small glint of red behind the rack on the ground, like a pebble that slid underneath.
Frey would grab Taskill and point it out.
Good eye, daughter.
You immediately get magic off this thing with your detect magic.
Nolgrim will, as they start drawing, should we bring in one of the gnomes to serve as a witness to ensure that they don't assume us of foul play?
I would have assumed at least one of them followed us in, but...
Yeah, they're standing at the door just watching you guys.
Okay.
Wouldn't that just be fun?
Oh, I'm talking about the whiskey.
Yeah. With detect
what are those
magic,
fire seat things?
With detect magic in this game, does it do the rounds telling you about the type of
It
magic?
can tell you the school of magic, it just won't tell you what it is. It is of evocation school.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Immediately upon learning that, just like everyone back up.
Nolgrim will do so.
Yeah, Thrum's heading back and holding his shield up, pulling his shield out and holding it up.
I'm very good at disarming traps.
That'll be me. I kind of poke my head in from the outside. Is there a trap?
Seems
Hey.
likely.
Clear the way.
I don't know if we're just going to pull out a shield and try to hide behind it.
So I'm going to go inspect the thing.
Yeah, it looks like an ordinary pebble
Mm-hmm.
in shape, but it is like of a red, kind of glossy crystal. And without touching it, if you bring your finger within like an inch of it, there's a very, very faint heat, like one of those hand warmers you'd put in your pockets, coming off of it.
And do you think this would be triggered by touch? Or would I be able to figure that?
That would be an Arcana roll.
Can I roll it without having to be a class skill?
Yes, you can. If you just think your character could reasonably know something.
Yeah. Okay, I was about to roll it, but I don't think I need to. So
I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm trying to, if it's something that's explosive, I imagine I've dealt with it.
Yeah. Probably the context that you're thinking of here is that this is you to like get this close to it, you had to actually like pick up and move the weapon rack. So the Drow were on a tour. They didn't like disassemble the armory to place this here. So it had to have been like thrown underneath here on the sly. So probably jostling it is not going to detonate it. Otherwise, it would have gone off immediately.
Okay. So I will just go ahead and everyone stand back, and I'm just going to try to pluck it up.
Yep, it's warm to the touch, but you just pluck it right up.
okay, everyone search this place for more of those.
With that natural 20, Freya, I would say with you directing the effort, you do manage to find about 3 more scattered around.
That's disturbing.
Anyone know what these things are? Can figure it out?
I don't know, but I think we want to take them far away from here.
Would that be a
You'd have to have identify,
Arcana.
I think, as a spell.
identify?
Identify would do it exactly. You could try another Arcana to see if you could ballpark it with just the information that you have. With the 14s, I would say it's pretty much what everyone's thinking without saying. There's some sort of explosive, fire related, almost certainly. They must be pretty high intensity if they're gonna get rid of all the metal inside this armory. If they're not detonated by touch, they might have another trigger, but you're not sure what.
Yeah, that's
So-
what I want to. That's what I want to know.
We're looking at command words. We're looking at maybe remote detonation. Either way, I think we want to get these out of here.
Hey.
I've got a chest in the wagon.
Let's not put them in our stuff yet. Let's just get them away from the
move
building.
The chest somewhere else.
Maybe we put them in the direction they're going to be coming from. And sneak them around there so that when they think that they're setting them off in the armory, they set them off on themselves.
A thought, but for now, let's just tuck them off into a obscure corner so that if they do go off, it doesn't harm anybody, and bring it to the Lord's attention. And then we let him help decide what's best done with them, even if we guide with suggestions of booby trapping tunnels and the like.
Shame. I'd love to put them in the bags of the enemy.
That would be quite entertaining.
That would be. Out of curiosity, does anyone in the party have identify? I know Kenneth, I think, does because of Forge.
Identify? What is that?
It's a ritual spell.
It's a first level ritual spell.
I
I'm
won't
pretty
until I level up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure artificers can use it. That's because magic items are like their shit.
Is it in one of the other books, or more open and I don't see it on there?
It's in the main spell.
Yeah.
It's called Identify. It's a first level divination. I'm looking at Forge Domain Clerics. They get it as a domain spell at level 1. It's not technically on Cleric's list normally.
That means domain spells you always have prepared, don't you?
Yes.
Or is it just added to your list? So
They're
yeah,
added to your list, so you can cast it without ritual.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not trying to play other people's character. I'm just trying to make sure we have the
Alright.
spell.
Didn't even see it, so yeah.
Yeah, you have that, and you have Searing Smite. which are
Yeah,
both
I had that prepared last session, but
yeah.
fine.
Searing Smite and Identify don't cast towards your maximum spell list for Cleric because they're your domain spells.
Yeah, so you always count as having them prepared.
Oh, I do have Identify on my list, so okay.
Yep. Yeah, if you just want to take 10 minutes to do the ritual, if you don't want to expend the spell slot, or you can expend the spell slot and just get info now.
We'll take 10 minutes while people are showing up.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine we need to wait for Ivy a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I suggest we not actually take them into the building. But
No.
That is why I recommend tucking it aside safely.
Take them over here or something for now.
Yeah. With the ritual of Identify, which Rise, you read in the conclusion of it, Ivy comes back with the box. They are about what you'd expect they are. They are magic stones that are designed to explode with extreme heat. Basically, each one replicates Fireball.
no.
And they are actually on a timer. And since Identify is a very nice and precise spell, they are going to go off sometime what you would consider tomorrow morning. It is an extremely good thing you did not put those in your wagon.
Yeah.
I just
Literally-
went inside the chest. not
Literally
inside
everything
the wagon.
you
I'm gonna
own
move the chest
and
over
the
here.
pack would die.
Maybe we get an Ivy on putting these in that guy's bag.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
It might be a
by
bit too
thi-
late at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by this point, they have left. They took about 2-3 hours to gather.
Although if we put them in a place that they're not going to damage anything by exploding, we could use that as evidence to Lord Gurney that we found these, and with the gnomes here to testify that we found them here.
Would a fireball harm anything down in a rock quarry of marble?
I mean, they certainly wouldn't in the pond, in the lake.
Yeah,
Well, we
just
could see it in the quarry.
Free
We could
fish
take
if you throw them in the lake.
Right?
We could take Lord Gurney to the side of the quarry and let him watch from the top while they explode down in the bottom.
With all the workers.
Well, we had to work
Oh,
on
well,
that.
no. We get the foreman to clear it out.
we said our people are showing up, so I imagine they're learning about this too, and that includes the foreman.
And the quarry's big enough that all the townsfolk could stand around and see what the drow were trying to do to them.
That is a good point.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea.
That is a very showy presentation.
So while they're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and cast Detect Poison on the candy.
Yeah, you do get a some poison off of that.
Ivy, do you know anyone whose word you'd trust on if these are poison or not?
Thara, definitely. I got a whiff of them as I take them. They've definitely got poison on them. I would recognize that scent anywhere. It's Gnome's Bane.
Hey, please take these to her and have her come. We'll need everyone we have to convince your lord that you're already at war.
Yeah, okay, I'll do it. And then she tucks it under her arm and she heads off.
Out of curiosity,
Oh,
how do
wait,
we explain
wait right
that
there. Is that the barkeep's name that y'all are talking about?
Yep.
While you gents were doing your things yesterday, I spoke with
That was still today. It's a very
Same day
eventful
so
day.
far.
Yeah, it's a very eventful day. It's getting
Yeah.
later now, but
Oh, yeah.
this is a terrible work day.
So
listen, work a 15-hour workday. This is pretty fun.
So definitely have the foreman clear out the quarry for the morning tomorrow, and we can go speak to Lord Gurney now to explain the situation and tell him if he doesn't believe us to meet us at the quarry and explain to him what's about to happen, where we found him, and everything.
I
Is that what
agree,
basically plan is.
young Fergus, but I think it's important to take Miatha and the quarry master Tammin.
Tamer,
Yes.
like
Tamer.
hammer, but with a T.
Tamer, our friends from the guard, they all need to go with us when we go to speak to Lord Gurney.
Yeah, all the friends with the guards are coming. All of our friends in the guard are coming with
Yeah.
us.
And especially the ones that were here at the armory where we found these.
And look, I don't play these political games, but I hear about this shit all the time, this shite. It might be best if Lord Gurney hears all this from his kinsfolk, not from us. We can be there, But if it's coming straight from their mouths, it doesn't have to go through ours.
That's why I sent Davy to fetch the lass. We're strangers, and I'm not sure we made the best impression with young Fergis here. But it
Wait,
is
what
a
did I
danger.
do?
Especially not with those silver-tongued, venomous bastards around to countermand anything he might say.
Hey. So swift with their rapiers and their daggers, I can't imagine how quick they are with their tongues.
Yes, I feel it would probably be best if out of character, I can't remember the widow's name, but you'd use that name correctly.
Ismara.
It would probably be best if Ismara was the one to deliver the note we discovered. After all, she would most likely have the most impactful significance behind it.
I took it from Yaitha that either she or Taman would have the support of most of the people, and I say we have them go up there hand in hand, so to speak, and lead the conversation. But yes, the widow's power in the room would be unmistakable. Although I hate to say, but I hate to ask, but does anybody have any drow coin left?
Yeah.
I spent all of mine this morning on getting provisions for the rest of our journey.
I still have 3.
I saw all of mine.
Good.
Just freaking Thrum cleaning out several households with all that platinum.
Before we leave, I'm going to need your platinum to buy more supplies.
How full is the wagon?
Not very. It's less full than it was when we set out. I've got to recount, but everything's down to like 30% of what it was. And I wasn't able to add much with 5 silver pieces per pound.
Yeah. Once this is all said and done, you could have my 3. I'm pretty sure I paid for room and board for the next couple days anyway.
Yeah, with 1 coin.
Yeah.
Considering that amongst common folks, a gold piece is big money.
Yeah.
It's like if buying a room with a gold piece is like buying a fountain drink with a $100 bill, you just cut a check for $2,000 at a fast food restaurant, and just told them to keep it coming. All right. So
Life goals.
So what do you? Yes. Man. So what are you guys doing with little exploding fire rocks, and what are you going from here?
I say we set them aside, even though well, are you sure that they are on it? I would advise against bringing it into the hall itself.
The foreman's here with us after we, like what we were saying, like,
Oh
we had him
no,
meet us here.
he's still at the quarry. You guys were
Okay.
gathering. You said you were gathering information. You weren't told him to meet you anywhere.
Okay, I heard someone talking about meeting people, so
Yeah, Ivy was the only one I was really thinking of.
Yeah, she just sought you guys out.
it's getting close to being the end of the day anyway, right? Maybe a couple of us should go to the foreman and tell him we have these and want him to put them somewhere safe that they won't hurt anybody, and to delay work in the quarry for a day, or not even a day, like part of the morning, until we can have Gurney witness to this and explain to him what's going on.
Yeah.
We could at least let him know our intent and let him decide if he wants to close down his quarry. I certainly think that's not our decision to make.
Yeah. Or even if he has a better idea where to put them to where that we can show Lord Gurney what they intended to do.
Yep.
Alright.
Yep.
I say we take this moment to take a quick bio break, because I know I need to use one. And then we can get on to convincing Lord Gurney.
Sounds good.
I'll pee in your quarry. What's up?
Oh, we're taking a piss break. I'm looking at the next set for Magic, just out of curiosity, and apparently it's going to have a lot of creatures with the nightmare type, and one of them has the type of nightmare pangolin.
I came back at a very interesting time.
Not the nightmare pangolin.
Yes. New set for Magic's starting to get leaked, and
Oh, yeah.
apparently a lot of black and other critters are going to have the type nightmare. So
Oh, interesting.
there's one. It's a 1/5 for 3 called Gloom Pangolin. It's just creature type nightmare pangolin.
Gombo, I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, when you think of it, I thought of you a while back when I was looking for games before we decided to do the Saturday thing.
Mm-hmm.
There were these people looking. 2 times I saw people like, all like official stuff is okay except for Ravnica. We don't use any of that. I'm like, what's wrong with Ravnica, guys?
I've been noticed there's this weird thing that there's some people that get really elitist. They say, "Oh, Magic the Gathering should stay in trading cards. Keep it out of Dungeons and Dragons." I'm like, it's a fantasy setting. What's it matter?
Yeah.
Wow, 1/5 for 3 mana. That's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not aggressive, but it's a solid blocker.
Yeah. It's a decent draft pick, I guess, for a vanilla.
Yeah. I'm not hardcore into. I mean, I like Magic. I'm just not super hardcore. I've talked about it in the past.
Yeah, I would love to play it, but I would hate to try to get into it seriously.
Yeah. If we were in person more, Richard, I would say then play with me, because I construct decks based on themes that I find fun, and then I just run with it. I don't try to optimize.
I usually just get a bunch of cards and I make something that I think looks cool.
Yep, I made a Minotaur deck and a Vampire deck just because I liked that.
Yeah, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh with some of my friends. We would always just make themed decks.
Yeah, I love playing Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's
Like
fun.
that was like the poor man's Magic the Gathering, because even though it was expensive as fuck, it was still cheaper than getting involved into Magic.
Yeah, I remember one of my decks that killed it. Its theme was all light and dark monsters. So that opened me up to having Copycat on my team, which was just absolutely devastating, that card.
Well, on that front, the original server for this went offline, but apparently there is another one online that is a free online Magic thing. Cockatrice.
Yeah, all of those online card game stuff got hit pretty hard. And then it all went to private things you can only access through Discord servers.
There's some stuff on Tabletop Simulator, but it obviously doesn't update with the latest.
Yeah, I played a lot on. Because obviously I didn't want to buy every deck that I wanted to make. So we played a lot of online Yu-Gi-Oh! Too. I had a Gym Knight deck on there, which I guess is trash now. I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In a long time. They have.
I'm told a lot of things about the modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, and it sounds very screwy.
Yeah,
I was playing before Pendulum Monsters and all that nonsense.
You want to know when I played Yu-Gi-Oh? When they had the first generation trading cards, back when they all had 200 attack points and shit.
Yep. Like all those garbage cards that just made it fun. But then the power creep settled in.
I regretted getting rid of it, but back in the day, I did have a holographic catapult turtle, which I thought was the shit because it was in the It was in the cartoon.
You remember those joke cards, the Ojama?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had a fusion one that was Ojama King, and I remember I killed it in a deck that was based around just getting Ojama King out. And then switching his attack and defense, because he had 0 attack and 4,000 defense.
Mm.
So it would switch his attack and defense, and then he would just rack.
So is everyone back?
I believe so.
Are we gonna yada yada over the foreman, by the way, or do we need to?
I'm not gonna roleplay it, but you can persuade him, somewhat begrudgingly, to allow you to throw live explosives into his quarry.
Well, we also asked if he would have a better option other than the quarry that would keep everyone safe.
Honestly, he doesn't. Like, if he had his preference, he would prefer you just to throw it into the stocklight where they could do nothing, but that doesn't prove anything to the Lord. So,
yeah.
Can we add on that or help on that persuasion?
you succeed. It's fine.
Okay.
See if we could do a strategic place where it'd actually be beneficial to blast mining.
Well, see, here's the thing. They're not mining. They're trying to get the material.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking we would try at least put them into a
Fireball doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's not it's not a structural explosives. Especially with Identify, it would like burn up all the wood and melt a lot of metal of the armory. Certainly the leather armor would be gone.
Mm-hmm.
But the actual structure itself would be very much standard.
Yeah. And also, we wouldn't put them all on top of each other. I imagine we'd space them out a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, space them way out so that everyone all the way... I'm picturing everyone in the village standing around Stonecutter's Row, where it says Stonecutter's Row, and get the innkeep and all the quarry members to spread the word that everyone should show up and see, and we get Lord Gurney there in front of all of them. He cannot deny what has just happened.
I don't think it's a matter of denying. I think might be
understanding.
Yes, but I also think it may take it ill-advised if we show up with all of his people and make him the last in the loop.
No, he wouldn't be the last in the loop. We're still going to go talk to him.
But we're not going to be the ones showing up. The quarry, Tammer, and Miatha are going to lead the charge for us. They're going to be the people's voice. I think it's important that the message come from them, and they use us as proof.
I agree, but I do not think we need to invite the entire village there.
Either way, we still should go talk to Gurney now and have him show up tomorrow and let him know what's going to happen.
Also, it's like 400 people in the village.
We shouldn't talk to them. We should have them talk to him with them.
Regardless, we should still be there.
Yes. I'd rather not be there, honestly. I'd rather throw a bookcase at him.
So after putting the stones in the quarry, where are you guys going? What's the plan?
Gathering up the people we wanted to have with us for Lord Gurney.
Okay.
Make our way there, I believe.
Yeah.
All right, so you get Tammer, and you go back to the Blue Bat. Ivy's there with Mithara. Mithara had inspected the candies. And as you walked in, she goes, "It's good you got these away from Lord Gurney. They're poisoned with Gnomes' bane. Recognize the scent anywhere. Nasty bit of drought work on that poison."
Well, most of their works are nasty.
Gonna be a bit of an awkward conversation trying to describe how we got or how he is no longer in possession of the candy.
I'll apologize for that myself.
Fair.
Ivy says, "Listen, so whatever you're planning to do, I'm going to take my leave. I don't think being present for talking to the Lord will be very good for your case. I have a reputation."
What do you mean by take off?
Like, just wander around the town,
okay.
Just not follow you in.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were planning bailing entirely or still waiting for us to leave with you.
No, just I'm not going up to the hall.
Okay, that's fair.
And then at that point, she leaves. Mithara's still inspecting the candies. She goes, the funny thing about Gnomes' Bane is that if any of you ate one of these candies, nothing would happen. It's a special little treat of drow creation. Terribly toxic to gnomes. But against everyone else, it acts like a potion that makes them more resistant to any magic that we cast.
I see.
Should we be concerned that I remember seeing Lord Gurney eating a couple before we left the chambers?
He didn't actually eat any. He
Oh,
just
he
said
didn't?
he'll have them.
Oh, okay, I thought you said he ate one and then he ate two.
Yeah, he looked at it.
Okay.
Are they all in the box?
Yeah, they're all in the box.
Okay. Forrest Gump didn't have one or two.
Yeah. So mean.
It just clicked.
I know.
But is there anyone else we need to bring other than what I typed out below? Tammer, Miathra, the guards that we are at especially at the armory, including Kidge, and then the widow of the sheriff.
I mean, with the exception of Ivy, that's every named character I've told you about.
I'm just making sure we have every detail.
Yep.
What with having a name?
You there, rendered passerby.
Do you have a name?
Testify.
No? Okay, carry on.
Just teaches turns.
Cavefish.
I mean, if you count Kidge, then that's one more named character than you get.
I lumped him with the guards.
Yep. You just ask a random passing known. He pivots on his center axis and just asks you if you got to the Cloud District recently.
What does he say? And of course we don't.
I always thought that was the stupidest question. I'm like, you mean up those fucking stairs right there?
Like,
Or you mean where I'm at right now?
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, off to Lord Gary.
All right. So you got posse in tow. Obviously, with all those people following you, it's not like you exactly need to announce yourself too much entering the hall. And you're in, and Gurney's off his throne. He's talking to the guards. He's like, "Well, what do you mean they just up and disappeared? I mean, oh wow, that's a lot of people." And he's saying this in undercommon, by the way. Master Dwarves, all of you, what's going on?
Nolgrim will say, your people have some matters they wish to bring to your attention, and I believe it will be best if it came from their lips. And he would, make room for them to explain everything.
Come on, Gombo, roleplay with yourself.
Thara says, "Well, Lord Gurney, the dwarves have found some things that may put a certain light on your former drow guests." Gurney, really? What kind of things? Eyes turn back to the dwarves.
We're not gonna get to listen to you roleplay with yourself. For
You're
15
the ones making the accusations here.
Nolgrim was,
To start from the beginning, maybe.
yes.
I was born on a Tuesday. It was hot. It was raining.
When we were rescuing the guardsmen, and he motions to the one that they came with us. We also uncovered a letter with some. What we found out from Miathra here was drow currency. He would take one of the platinum pieces and the letter and show them to Lord Gary.
It's around this point that Cridge steps up and goes, "I would like to add, my lord, that the Skizrel attack was coordinated. It's like they knew we were coming. And I could swear that they targeted Gunther especially. He was the only one that they killed right away, rather than like the rest of us and taking us alive." And he steps back, and you can continue.
After showing him the letter and everything, I would bring up the mention that we found drow tracks heading from not the Needle's Eye, but the other pathway that's the one from down the southwestern path right here. It's the one that the gnome guards used to come back with.
Mm-hmm.
Had
No,
a lot of.
You didn't see drow tracks there.
I
said
said,
it was
said
over-
specifically that
Did I?
Cope's character found drow residual traces of drow footprints and tracks and stuff in that that I remember because I had the recording. I went back.
The other end of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
At the end that they went back from, which means that there could more likely be that they led the Siskerel there.
Mm-hmm.
Or they came back from there after the Siskerel went there. Either way.
Sorry, out of character. I thought you meant literally this spot right here, but no, the other end of the tunnel where it lets out. Yes, yeah. Because there's multiple branches to these things.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
From there, talk about how we had our suspicions in town once we had spoken with them and about the tour that they took, and then I'm gonna kind of pass on the floor to Taskill.
When we got the permission of your guard to inspect the armory ourselves, we found within strange jewels of magic. As I studied them, it became obvious through the guidance of Father Mountain that they would explode and set your armory and equipment alight, leaving you defenseless before any force they might bring to bear to you. With the aid of the foreman of your good quarry, we have set them in a place where they might be shown off tomorrow morning as the time comes.
As proof, my lord.
I believe that the drow left them there when they toured them at your... I don't know if he personally guided them, but...
Oh yeah, he definitely did.
Yes, on your goodwill tour of the facilities.
They meant ill from the very get-go.
And I think they meant you particularly ill will. Kind of looks back at Taskill.
I sought the protection upon this town of Mother Fire to guard the lives of all within, and it bestowed unto me the item which the drow gave to you. Confirming my suspicions, they are indeed poisoned, as the good lady Ismara will attest.
She steps, says, "Indeed, Lord Gurney, I would know it anywhere. Those candies that they gave you," she opens the box. She was briefly distressed that that's where the missing ones were. They're coated in Gnome's bane. If you had eaten them this night, you would have been dead before your waking. Unless you guys have anything else to say, we can do the persuasion roll.
Yeah, I got a little bit of for closing.
Okay, go ahead.
That's the way of those that work in deception and treason. Time must be taken to sort through their lies and check all things that they have touched, for they will warp it to their own ends. Thus is the way of the drow, our ancient enemy.
It may not hurt to comb over wherever they were taken about, lest they hid any more sinister traps to undermine your society while they are away.
And my lord, if I may speak, you mentioned something as we entered about something just vanishing. I saw one of the drow head away from your halls, separate from his group, carrying a large sack which I thought was supplies, but it could pertain to whatever you're thinking of as well.
Well, what was missing was the candies.
Well, I apologize for that, but to be fair, it did save your life.
Mm-hmm.
We have advantage.
You'll have advantage and a +3 on the roll.
So
because
who wants to roll it?
you guys, well, you can choose amongst you,
Fergis.
because it's kind of a
Whoever has the
collective
best.
thing.
Okay. I think I'm the only one that has, like... Does anyone else have a 16 charisma?
Nope.
Wait, you have charisma?
I have 16.
I have an 8.
So +3 would make it a 22.
Oh yeah, you need to hit 20.
Ooh, that was steep.
Well, yeah, you're basically having them just turn around his entire viewpoint.
No, I like it. I like it. That's good.
Hmm.
I mean,
He leans
that
back.
had Richard rolling at a +8. So.
Yeah. And you guys ticked a lot of the boxes, so you did a good job. He backs up and he sits down on his throne and he leans back and he just takes it all in. And he rests his hands up on his forehead. And he's quiet for a moment. And he says, good people of Fastervault, if I hear you, if I could just have a moment with the dwarves. I'll get back to you soon. And they all shuffle out, and even the guards leave, so it's just you and Gurney. And he rests his hands upon the arms of his throne, and he goes, the drow are coming, aren't they?
Aye.
He looks up at all of you, no one in particular. He goes,
Likely within the next day.
Maybe not the next day. They do have about a week to travel at least.
Do they? Because it's set to go off in the armory
Oh, that is true. Who knows?
tomorrow.
They might have a force nearby.
I've just been an idiot this whole time, haven't I?
No, you were raised in a time of peace. Meanwhile, all the drow know is treachery.
You are inexperienced, but that is no crime, and all good men wish for peace.
He rests his face in his hands and goes, by the ancestors, I'm so bad at this job. And he just thunks his head back. My father, he would have picked up on all this right away. Oh man, he drove the Drugar out of the Upper Azathir. He founded this town. He cut a deal with the drow. He did everything. I just thought it would be easier.
It would be easier if you had more honest neighbors who have your best interests in mind as well.
Most in the Underdark just try to eat you right away.
Most, but not all.
Young lord, don't hang your head. It's time to raise your chin. Recognize that your cunning enemies saw the strength in you, and you were their first target. It's time to gather your resources. Those may be, to some, quarry, armor, arms, but to others it's friends, allies, those you may call upon. Lean on them when it's not your time to shine. Have them go out in front.
Roll me a persuasion at advantage there, Thrum. That was a good little speech. At advantage, so you can give it one more.
You mean at advantage so I don't get a 4?
I already told you it was at advantage.
Yeah.
I was on the level.
Yeah.
6.
He listens to you and he goes, I'm sure everyone in that town out there just thinks I'm a moron. I mean, they're right. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, it's my name. Speaks the truth, but slowly.
Such times as these are a great fire in which one will know what they're made of. But one must be willing to be forged anew. In your name, you speak the truth. You are an honorable man. Come, let us teach you the ways of leadership.
Are you going to help me? Help Fastervault when the drow come? That with your
All
offering?
right. We can't let them take anything they can get their hands on. You seem as good of allies as any we might make down here.
He's on his feet. Thrum's butt clenches.
I don't want to stick around with these assholes.
He's on his feet and he grasps your hand, Taskill, in both of his hands, and he's been shaking it vigorously. He's like, "Thank you, all of you, Master Dwarves. We are not many in warriors. There's just the 10 of my guards here, and the 5 gnomes that you brought back. 15 soldiers cannot defend an entire town. Maybe with your help, we actually have a chance."
Hey.
It might be worth investigating, continuing the mission that the late sheriff had been unable to fulfill, and to seek the reinforcements, especially now that we have proof that there is need.
Oh, the closest other gnome settlement it's months away. I don't know if we have that time.
No, if it's months away, then no. Is that where the sheriff was headed, that long of a travel away?
I don't believe he had. Well, I think he had as little faith in me as everyone else did. He might have been going for a long shot now that I think about it.
Well, we do have a distinct advantage on our hands. The fact that they think that they are coming to a crippled and wary village, when instead they'll be meeting with the point of a spear.
They
The dwarves of old
know that we
have waded through longer odds.
Lord Gurney, a war council. That's what you should do. First step, prepare a war council. Gather all the strong minds who know everything about your village. Bring them all together with us and let's work out a plan.
Also,
Yes.
how many how many military age people live in this town? That's a good question.
Out of character, just from me looking around, quite a few. Gnomes are quite long-lived, so they got quite a large grace period there.
Yeah. Let's not include him in any discussion. Let's get out of here with his authority.
Too late. You said the war council. He goes, yes, you're right. Bring in good people. I think you might have done my work for me. They're waiting outside. Tamer, Thara, Cridge. I mean, he's basically the new sheriff now. These are the people, and of course, all of you. Yeah, this is a good idea. I'll get them right away. No, it's late. Tired, fresh heads. If you could all come back tomorrow after we all get some sleep, we'll figure this out. We'll defend Fastervault. We can do it. I'll give a speech. When news gets out about all this stuff, which it absolutely has. I know enough to know news spreads fast. He's like talking fast, almost to himself. People want to flee the town. I need to reassure them that this is worth fighting for.
Do you want to have a presentation for your speech? One that'll be showy and get the attention of all the people in the town.
Yes, that's a good one. Yes.
Get the people who have the most authority to meet you at the quarry in the morning. Give your speech. Make sure it's long-winded. And I believe something will emphasize your case. And like wink, wink, because we already told him what's going on.
I trust you. I like it. Okay, I'll put out the word. I'll get it going. I'll do that. Do that right now. Okay. Yeah. He just leaves to go out into one of the side rooms to talk to his guards, leaving you guys just in his hall.
So Evie's not going to be happy.
Well, she can take care of herself for a little while.
Fair.
She might be a great asset, too. If we can
convince her to be an asset. She's
No,
probably better
I can do
trained
that.
than half the people that we're going to recruit for this.
Yeah, I can do that. We just tell the last that we're taking her with us. Reassure her of that. Whatever you all do, promise me you will reassure her that she can come with us.
Absolutely.
I've already talked to her about it again, and I'm all for it. Though it seems like we're stuck here for a little bit now.
Aye, but I think it'd be far more fruitful to stay here and see this done to the end than to take off and continue our wondrous adventure without really any direction to go.
Let's, where should we move our war council? We need to plan.
I mean, I'm fond of the blue bat.
I agree. I think we should leave the Lord Gurney to his rest and go somewhere else to discuss it.
And inform his war council, the ones waiting outside, the plans to come so that they likewise can begin their own preparations.
So, this has been a full day, but I actually do want to bring up now, do we want to have whoever's fast and try to catch up to the drow that left and try to stop them now? It's a little late now to decide that.
Talk to him about what?
Stop them, not talk to them.
Ah.
Because I don't know about the rest of you, but I can move fairly fast. And I know Thrum here can probably move in the darkness better than anybody.
I have to say, though, what sends a stronger point, the murder of a ambassador or the wiping out of what is supposed to be a raiding party meant to cripple, if not completely take over a village.
I just wanted to put one of those beads in their tent.
Oh, that's I like that thinking.
I mean, I can move fairly fast and keep it quiet.
God, talk about running with live ammunition.
Right.
That's like World War II handing someone the bomb and saying, "Charge the lines."
It'd be risky, but it can't say that it wouldn't be daring.
So we're back at the bat now, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Having
you're
this
still,
discussion.
So-
On the walk, at least.
Yeah, you're
At
on
the same
walk.
time, we risk tipping our hand. You know, one way or another, if their tent goes up, then they know the raid has been foiled.
Gentlemen, I've got two scenarios here. The timing for scenario one was the armory detonates, the Lord dies, and invasion force comes in all tomorrow. Scenario two is the armory detonates, the Lord dies, and then they don't know when the fuck the invasion force comes in.
I think you're onto something that they were probably planning pretty soon. And especially given the path that they chose to go down, it probably isn't too sizable of a force.
Good point. Oh, we could choke them at the eye. If there is a force coming in tomorrow, and they can only get through one at a time.
It's not necessarily one at a time, but...
I mean, the eye was pretty much one at a time.
It was one at a time. A large creature couldn't squeeze through, so a medium had to squeeze through.
And they did go down that path, but I'm not sure if it branches.
But if they're going to contact someone tomorrow, and what we know about our travel through, it was a half day's if you're rushing from the eye, a day's march if you let through the eye to get to here. So if the attack is coming tomorrow, and they went through the eye when they left, then it would have to come back through the eye. Otherwise, it would take 10 days to go around the other way we came.
Hey Fergis, how far does your alarm spell last or work for?
Let me look that up, actually. I think it's not that super far. I'm bringing it up right now. Give me 1 second.
Either way, it could lend itself well to getting a scout ahead of time. Have somebody nearby with that alarm so we know when somebody's coming through that path and get a word that somebody's approaching.
I'm thinking, gentlemen,
Within 1 mile of the area.
I'm thinking we need to go man the neck, or the, what's it called?
Eye.
The eye. We need to go mend the eye for the morning. Maybe leave someone here to help Lord Gurney get his speech off and get the group going. But if there's a force coming through in the morning through the eye, we need to be there.
I mean, a mile is a long way. Could set the alarm spell first thing tonight.
It has a limited reach of only 20 feet around a cube, and he would in character describe the dimensions of what he can alarm.
Unless there's a reason y'all can tell me that I shouldn't be there, I'm going to be at the Eye tonight, or at least by the morning.
I will let you guys know, for the sake of the alarm spell thing, each hex on the world map is 12 miles, and the Needle's Eye is 1 hex south of you. So it's definitely out of range of the spell.
It would still give us a mile warning if I did it from the town.
Yeah, you could do that.
And I could put it in just the middle of the path, so the chances of someone walking over it's pretty good.
I like that idea. So I say plant the alarm tonight. That way, we could have. We'll be prepared for. We could be there for the speech, show that we're there to aid them, while at the same time making sure our backs are not turned entirely.
But where would you plant the alarm spell? He's only got it as far as you can throw a piece of shit.
You could throw shit pretty far. A mile is not.
Have you seen what we've been eating?
That doesn't explain much, but what I'm saying is a mile is a fair amount of forewarning. And at any rate, if they come during the speech or before the speech, then it would be moot since nobody would have the arms and armor ready. But no, I do not disagree that it is good to have a scout and a preparedness ready, but I also think we need to have some representation at the Lord's speech so that they know that they're not in this alone and have a face to let them know that we are there for them.
I agree.
I'll go with you since I have to set the alarm anyway. We can scout ahead. I believe the two of us could probably keep it quiet.
That would put someone being our representative at the quarry. Taskill?
Aye.
You're up to it?
I'm interested to see what these things can do.
Yeah. I wish I'd be there to see them. But I hope to put... Damn it. I don't have any arrows. I don't have a bow.
I'm sure you could...
Looking back to the armory, did they have bows and arrows in there?
They had crossbows and light crossbows.
All right.
Because they are simple weapons.
I will definitely take one of their crossbows. Go arrange that. And then, Fergis, you and I can go scout out this... Aye. Because if they start funneling through, we're the first line of defense. We're going to shoot them until we're dead.
I would recommend you retreat and spread the heads up and reconvene with us than to stand your ground.
For what? For the 10, 15 militiamen they have here? With
it depends on the scale of their people.
I would still recommend you at least come back and convene with us, so it's not just the two of you.
Fergus, you go with me, and I will stand at the Eye, and you will come and bring the message back, should it happen.
Oh, Lord.
Thrum, I guarantee you stand a better chance with the 10 or 15 militiamen here than by yourself.
I think one at a time coming through a squeeze point, I stand a great chance.
So, out of curiosity, Cope, what spells do you have? Because Pass Without a Trace would be great right now.
Yeah, he doesn't have that.
Darn. Oh well, we can make do.
Is it one of those where you could choose from any of them at the start of the day, or is it you only know a certain number?
Ranger's fucked. Ranger's the worst spellcaster. He has to pick from the smallest list, and he only has, and he can never change them out except for when he levels up.
Hopefully we level up.
Hint, hint.
Oh, don't worry. You guys are very close, and also there's been lots of great role-playing, so you'll hit 3 by the end of this.
So, Thrum, grab your crossbow. I'm going to grab those bear traps from our cart.
Ooh,
All right.
I like where they're going with that.
Yeah, he's going to run over to the armory and speak with one of the militiamen and see if they would allow him to take a crossbow and 10 bolts.
Yeah, they'll let you take the crossbow and 10 bolts, so they will say that, because the militia's informed about what's going on now, that they'd probably want you to bring that back, because that's another weapon they can give to someone if they're going to start trying to arm people.
Oh, and do y'all have any training as far as your ability to call up the forces of the people?
The town, the militia, the guard is about all we have. We're going to need to try to teach people quickly. I'm sure Gurney will be covering that in tomorrow morning's speech. You don't have to worry about him, though. He actually does know how to fight.
Oh, why do you say that?
Lord Gurney? I know he's got a reputation, and it's no secret about some of that stuff, but his father was quite the warrior, and he passed some of that on to Gurney before passing away, so...
That's good to hear.
Who knows? Maybe this is the kick in the pants he needs to step up and start taking over his father's legacy in earnest. And his eye, perhaps not entirely intentionally, but Nolgrim's eyes would kind of glide over to Fergis as he says that.
The parallels are real!
Wait, you want me to become a lush? Take over my father's legacy and all that.
Something like that.
All right, so Fergus and Thrum heading south towards the Needle's Eye.
Yep.
Then everyone else is just hanging out for the speech the next morning.
Yep.
All right, I assume Fergus and Thrum are fast-paced marching.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
So if you go through when you would normally rest, you'll be pretty pooped, but you'll be able to get there around the time that the speech would be happening.
Okay. I would also take one of those potions off the wagon and give it to Thrum.
Oh, thank you.
In case things go sour, you can stay up a little bit longer.
Yep.
All right, just to show you. For context, that's the Needle's Eye.
Can you shift click us?
I did.
I haven't moved. There it goes.
Oh, yeah. So that's very tight right there. What are these up here with the stairwells?
Those are like natural elevation with stalagmites that can act as cover.
Ooh, I like
Kind
that.
of natural ambush galleries.
All right. And is there anything to hide around here?
Nope, bear cave.
Okay. So are you on us right now? Do you want us to tell you how we're set up?
Oh, you can tell me where you are. I was just showing it to you.
Fergus, I would say I'd put you up here because you have the best sneak and you can run back and see.
Yeah,
But
I'm going to try to go up as far as I can and see if I can get sight of anything.
yeah, I'd put us both up there because you can always move back and start making your way back up here.
I would
And
I would ask you, like, in character, to stay back here while I go through this small area.
Okay.
Because if worst comes to worst, I can get away in a hurry. That's one of the things
you
I am
can
really
slip
good at.
back through, see him coming. Yeah, that's cool. He'd do that. He'd appreciate your skills. He's seen them at this point. All right, boy. But hey, before you go, remember, you have the whole dwarven race on your shoulders. So
No pressure.
don't be afraid to run back or run away to save your hide to fight for another day.
Okay then. Okie dokie then. Good speech. And he just gonna try to stealth away.
Oh,
So he's gonna
Can't
stealth.
find one. Can't find a good one under 100. Not under 100. You can't.
So 17. I'm gonna be going through here, trying to go farther down until I can get sight of any kind of forces,
Okay.
or even just the three drow themselves.
Yeah, you see no sign of anyone.
Okay. If there's no one, I would examine up here and around here, and if there was nobody, I would go back to Thrum and tell him to come forward a little bit, and I'm going to try to go out farther than the needle's eye a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you go out and you're still not seeing sign of anyone. It's just empty cavern.
All right, we hold here until the morning. We can double time it back in the morning if it doesn't happen, but it's best to be here.
So, judging by the size, I am going to how far away from the town is this? Would you say?
About 12 miles. Well, not 12 miles, like 10 miles. So it still takes a lot.
Yeah, it's a day's march, or if we double time it, half a day, right?
Yeah, just about.
So if we're gonna rest, we're taking a long rest here tonight and taking watches.
No, we're staying up all night and keeping guard.
You could reasonably short rest, which is only an hour.
Okay.
I was just asking because my per day of alarm. Because if we were doing a long rest, I could put it down tonight and then put it down again tomorrow.
How long does it last?
If you
8
can put
hours?
it down one time, put it down right here, and let's just stay up here in the ambush area and take short rests. And if it gets broken, then we know we're going to action.
Okie dokie. It's just when we get back to town, we won't be able to have any forewarning because I won't be able to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 12 miles away at town. You wouldn't be able to hear it there, right?
Nope. It has to be within 1 mile from my mental.
Yeah, so it's only useful right here.
Yeah.
You the man!
So yeah, I'm gonna set it up over here toward the very tip, what we can see on the map.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be past this little area. I'm going to set up bear traps through here.
Gotcha.
And caltrops. Because I have those too.
Yep, and Thrum will help.
I have 4 bags of 20 caltrops. I will use 2 of the bags here after we set up everything. Just to have a little extra fuck you if something happens.
Yeah, I love it. That's why Thrum brought bear traps.
Yep.
Well, let him set those up while you're doing the caltrops. Work together. You know, the ranger.
Yeah, bear
Rangers
traps would
knows
probably be
how
a
to hide
little far. Yeah. Bear traps would probably be a little higher up, and then when they try to go past after they trigger the bear traps, that's when the caltrops will be.
Oh, yeah, because you can spread them really thin through there.
Yep. So
All
yeah,
right.
that's how we do it.
Roll
right.
for initiative.
No. We still have Lord Gurney's speech.
Huzzah.
All right, so the next, what you approximate to be morning, a vast majority of the town is gathered up outside the quarry with Lord Gurney there. He wants you up there with him, but he is the one giving the speech. He's not gonna make you guys do that.
Mm.
He's like, fair citizens of Fastervault, I know that you have had doubts recently. The drow in our town, me showing them around, treating them as honored guests. I have been more deaf than I should have been to your concerns. But these noble dwarves, as well as many amongst your own number, have opened my eyes to the treachery of what they're bringing.
Echo in the cave, nice.
Yeah.
I will not speak in flowery terms, for that is not the type of gnome I am. The drow are coming, and they wish to take Fastervault and all of us within it for themselves. And just a general, panic, discontent murmur starts going throughout the crowd. And he says, I know that your first instinct will be to flee, to try to find some other place to call home and operate the theater. But we cannot do that. Fastervault is our home. It is my home. We've all been born and raised in this cavern. Almost all of us have never left this cavern. This cavern is our home. The gallery of the gods with the faces of our ancestors are here. This is our place. The drow cannot come in here and take it. We will defend it. Because we have defended it before. When my father drove the Drugar from this place. This is what we shall do now. Please, my fellow gnomes of Fastervault, stand with me in this time. And I know that we can win. And that's where the fireballs just go off. Just big circular globes of like, it's not just an explosion. They're literally domes of fire that persist for like 2 seconds before disappearing.
Nolgrim will begin cheering at that. See if he
Yeah.
can get a...
The crowd immediately goes into it. The
Awesome.
town has been rallied.
Nice.
And he says, over the din of the crowd, and we will not be standing alone. These brave dwarves have agreed, who brought this to our attention, have agreed to stand with us in our time of need, bring all their prowess and experience to aid us. More cheering. And after that, it goes to the War Council at the Blue Bat. Gurney has gathered Tamer, Even the Stones Listen, of course Mithara, Ever a Song Follows, and Caspar are there, along with Cridge Often Seen, who's kind of become the new impromptu sheriff.
It's like he's everywhere. You see him
He is
everywhere.
often seen.
He's often seen. The name I made up with on the spot has become prophetic. So they roll out like a hastily drawn map of Fastervault, approximate of what you're seeing right now, just less detailed. And Timir speaks up. He goes, well, the way I see it, our best bet is to move everyone that isn't going to be fighting on top, above the natural staircase. That staircase is a natural funnel. That will have to be our last line of defense if we can't hold the bridges.
Aye. Plus, anybody with simple crossbows or even just stones rained down on them is bound to give a headache to anybody that would be trying to invade.
Mithara says, I can take some space up near the Gallery of the Gods. I'm not much of a fighter, but I know a little bit of bardic magic. We can set up an aid station where we can bring any wounded up past there to get their wounds tended to.
Excellent. We'll have to wait till my companions return in force, but I am a frontline fighter myself. I like to get into the fray. So perhaps the bridges would be strong suits for funnels or fallback points, one of the two.
Crit speaks up and says, there's 350, almost 400 gnomes in this town. I can't imagine the drow are coming with a small raiding party of a few dozen.
That is fair. Though, at the same time, they were expecting a force that had no weapons, no leadership.
True. But engaging them in the mushroom fields or the town squares is a bad idea.
Agreed. That's fair. So, the bridges make a wonderful funnel.
Tamer speaks again and just says, walls. And he points to this section here.
What section? Shift click, please?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I get my quarry workers to be working We can plug up that section there, just in case they try to come from multiple tunnels or a different one. If we can keep them just by the mushroom fields, we can minimize the amount of space they can spread out and the areas that they can come at us from. The river is fast. It acts like a wall all on its own.
Sounds like a solid strategy. Best to make sure all bases are covered.
That means we'll have to collapse this bridge here.
Will we?
Well,
At least initially?
If they come from the other tunnels, then they can just loop around through Stonecutter's Row and come across the other bridge into the town square.
Aye, but we could have men at that bridge and then use this one as a fallback.
Cridge speaks again and says, Master Dwarf, I don't know if we'll have the manpower for that.
That's fair.
Even with the armory, and we start training, we don't know how soon the Drow force will be upon us. Even if we start training those townspeople that are willing, we'll be lucky if we could muster a fighting force of a few dozen.
Well, in that case, would it be wiser to destroy this bridge? One that they won't know is destroyed until they waste their forces getting there, while we are able to fortify this one spot. And if somehow they do manage to get through your wall, they still will have to take the long way around to come to the one bridge that will lead to the heart of the village.
Gurney actually speaks up at this point. He says, ooh, better idea. Sabotage this bridge. So if they cross it, then it breaks and they're taken by surprise.
I like that even more.
Tamar nods. It's not impossible.
As do I, but I must interject that I feel this bridge would be best the sacrifice.
Which
If we're to the southern one of the three. If we're to sabotage it, they will take it as the immediate. And if we have a token force guarding a wall on this side of it, perhaps we'll even decimate a number of their forces with the sabotage. And that would leave our forces here, a fallback point before we're on our last defense line.
Even better, I agree. And plus, this initial bridge looks like there's plenty of buildings where people could be firing the crossbows out of, firing at them from cover as they try to march across, and while their spear tip falls in the water, those that lingered behind are still just going to get rained upon.
And with this walled off, we can have listeners there run up if they are trying to break it, and we can fall back.
Tamar nods and goes, yes, the buildings are a good idea. It'll be faster if we don't have to build a secondary barricade.
I've been trying to interject for a bit, but I was muted.
It does happen.
It does.
Yep.
Out of curiosity, what sort of structures are these? Are they just houses, or?
They're just houses mainly.
Yeah.
But they're
A
built
couple
out
of them
marble, right?
are like duplexes where there's like a door on the bottom floor for one dwelling and then stairs on the outside up to a second floor.
High
Are they
ground for
all
those
made out
buildings.
of marble?
Yeah, they're all made out of marble. So,
Yeah.
solid material.
Really good cover
Mhm.
on both sides.
A couple of my kinsmen believe they'll be coming through the Needle's Eye, just as a direct route. Though we're short on manpower, if we could have fleet people there to reinforce them and retreat after harassing the enemy, that would be even better.
Aye, or perhaps hide some in the mushroom field, so as they walk past and start engaging, we could harry their flanks and then hit and run tactics. If we split off of a sizable force and chase, then that's more divided. Of course, it's a risk, but their intention is not to engage. It is to harass and flee.
Cridge speaks up again, says, the only way some gnomes could hide in the mushroom fields if they went prone underneath the crops. The second they fire off the first crossbow bolts, they'll be seen. And that's not a harassment mission, that's a suicide mission. They're not getting back across the bridges.
And we don't have the manpower to spare.
True.
And they're untrained.
Yes, that's fair. I keep forgetting that.
Once again, Gurney speaks up and says, Master Dwarves, I understand why your two compatriots are out near the Needle's Eye, but it might be worth recalling them.
If they should arrive here again later today.
That's good. I feel like we should try to get as many people in the town as possible. If what Cridge and the others are saying is true, and there's a great many drow, well, I don't think they'd do anything other than lose themselves at the Needle's Eye.
I was not too keen on that in the first place, but fortunately we will have at least a means to get a slight warning of their approach, as Fergis has a spell that alarms him of the presence of those within a mile, if he was able to set up in one particular path.
That's decided then. Gurney takes his finger and he puts it right where the stone natural staircase is.
Mm.
And he says, there, that's where I'm going to be. I want to be the line of defense between all of my people that aren't fighting and the oncoming enemy. They should know I'm there, standing there to defend them.
Good man.
If I could presume as much to ask you dwarves to maybe line the first bridge. Of course, fall back if the numbers get too large.
Gladly.
Crick says, well then, I better get training some militia then. If I could receive any assistance from that would be appreciated, but I should begin the organization. We're going to focus mainly on crossbows, as I think that will be our best chance to use a range advantage.
You don't want to be an untrained combatant in melee.
And these
I'm no soldier, but I'll help with I can.
Thank you. Tamara says, I'll get the workers started on the walls. It'll be cutting corners, and we can't go all the way up to the ceiling, but we can hold it. Maybe get a shroomwood walkway at the back so they can peek over.
It'll probably have to come down once we're done, but as long as it delays them long enough for the runners to get to the bridge.
I've got a nice arm on me. I could help with that if you would like a little bit more strength. Otherwise, we could set about trying to sabotage the bridge. It is made of stone after all, and I know my way around structures.
Yes, if I could get your eye on that would speed it up.
Consider it done.
And then finally, Kearney says, and then I'll focus on maintaining the morale, keeping people's spirits high. I can talk. I'm good at that.
That's what they need now more than anything.
With that, the War Council breaks. And at 10 o'clock on my time even, I think that's a good place to break the session.
Woo!
Because
you said we were going to level up, you said?
Yes,
I just wanted to have a quick scene with Thrum real quick before we...
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So it's not really anything exciting, but basically while they're waiting and they're talking about what they're doing and everything, what does Thrum speak in terms of languages?
He speaks Common, Dwarven, Elvish, and Undercommon.
So he just begins to speak with you, and it slowly transitions from Dwarven to full Undercommon.
And after a minute of speaking Undercommon, Thrum, as they're sitting there, that kind of just hard punch in the shoulder. Aye, boy, I told you the earth would fill you full of its magic, and you'd feel what it's like to be a dwarf.
It's not really magic. I'm just a quick learner. I also speak Gnomish, too. I kind of picked that up as we went about the city.
It's okay to speak languages.
But yeah, as a mastermind, I get 2 languages for free at level 3.
I like how it's
Choosing
basically.
Gnomish and Undercommon.
I like how it's basically. I've been here for a day. I got this. I know how to speak. I'm fluent. I'm good. I
Oh,
got
and if I
this.
spend a minute talking to somebody, I can talk exactly in their dialect.
That's awesome.
You also did spend like 6 days talking with Ivy on the travel too.
Oh, that's
so.
fair. That's true.
So we're gonna have to figure out how to incorporate a steel defender by next session.
Yeah, you're still gonna need. I have an idea, but you're gonna need to send me a picture for something.
Okay.
A what?
He's getting a mini golem.
Holy shit!
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
What
I'm gonna
the
stop the
fuck is
recording.
that?